Hello everybody, my name's Rob. Welcome back to my channel. Before you think about tuning off, this is going to be my best video all time. I know. What do they say? Under promise, over deliver. So I promise pretty high. We'll see how we go. I want you to watch this to the end. I'm going to get through this as fast as I can, and hopefully email notifications are not going to throw me too much. I've written notes down, so we're going to try to get through these as fast as we can. There were several things that came up which I thought were holes. They were pieces of information that either existed that I thought were unusual about Boomerang or didn't exist that I thought need to be answered about Boomerang. And for several weeks, I've been asking those questions. I've got no answers. I've had no leaders. I've had nobody who's reached out to me. I've had nobody who's offered to help. I've also had nobody who said, hey, what you're saying is wrong. I've had nothing at all. I did have a person the other day who suggested with their comment that I know nothing about crypto and I should basically shut up. And that's perfectly fine. But I don't think this is about crypto. I think this is about common sense. I think this is about leadership. I think this is about asking questions and doing your due diligence before you leap without looking. So our little story started ages ago, and I've tried to put this in as good an order as I can. Hopefully you'll find it easy to follow. Let's start with some stats. Okay, the stats here indicate that when the trainers were using the site, the average profit percentage, according to me, when I measured it, was 2.88%. Very, very high, because I'd never seen a market opportunity above 1.3. After members started using the site, that percentage steadily dropped to 1.6. After maintenance, when no trades had occurred that I am aware of, the trade figure went down, the flash loan total went down, and the profit went up. And still nobody has explained how that happened. But it meant that the profit jumped from 1.6 to 2.41. Since maintenance, not including those trades prior to maintenance or when it became live, but since maintenance, 1.10% average per trade, according to me. And in the last week or so, around about 1.00%. I had never seen a market opportunity showing 1.3%. And I asked others, have you seen one over 1.3%? And nobody had ever seen one. People had seen completed trades where the profit percentage was over 1.3%. We don't doubt that. But when you went into the market opportunities, has anybody seen anything over 1.3%? I hadn't. And I remember leaders saying, if you work hard, you can average about 1.27%. If you use larger trades, it may drop to slightly below 1.2. That was several weeks ago. So tonight I'm going to ask you, have you ever seen a market opportunity over 1.3%? Have you asked yourself, why not? If you have, please put it in the comment section below or let me know. But I think there's a good reason why you haven't seen a market opportunity over 1.3%. And it could be very, very telling. Tonight, I will endeavor to show you why. There were various stories about why the transactions, the trades, and the profit percentage changed when the site was down for maintenance. Some people said that there were failed trades that had been recorded incorrectly. So I want you to think for a moment, and I know that's hard for some people. I'm not even being sarcastic there. Some people find it easier to think their way through these things than others. But if you think about this, if the trade failed and was counted, then the trade may decrease by 1 for each of those failed trades. If the flash loan was counted, I don't see how it would have been if the trade failed, but if the flash loan was counted in the total erroneously, then you could see that the flash loan may decrease by whatever that flash loan was, i.e. the flash loan total may decrease by whatever that flash loan was. But how could the profit change? If the only thing that could have been recorded wrong were their failed trades, how did the profit change? No one's ever answered that. Nobody has ever addressed that. So I haven't received what I feel, and I feel what others should feel, is a plausible answer for that. Notwithstanding, Boomerang has been all the rage. It is the Christmas present for the We Are All Satoshi group, the community. Despite the fact that this Christmas present has not been free. There have been no free offers of Boomerang. Everybody that I know of has had to pay for a license and pay quite a price. Minimum license, $500. Nothing to sneeze about. But in the context of how people were talking, $500 seemed like a paltry figure. A paltry figure for some, but not for others. And so We Are All Satoshi took the back seat from Christmas, and everything became Boomerang. All the meetings became about Boomerang. An interesting fact is that some leaders came forward and took a far more prominent role than they had prior, and others were strangely absent. They sunk into the background. And some of those leaders we haven't seen since, although we may have seen them on meetings. The open meetings became closed. Some Zoom meetings became webinars. The chat was closed. Cameras were on. People were removed. People were removed because they didn't have their cameras on. People were removed because they asked awkward questions. Transparency? What do you think? So what happened for this change of heart? Was it that the bridge was shut? The bridge has been shut for over 50 days. For over 50 days, maybe more. I haven't been counting. I haven't looked at the wallet that pays the USDT out. For over 50 days, people have had no access to their own money. That's essentially withdrawals turned off. There were several reasons why those transactions had become manual back in, I think, November and December. But then we were shown 4 pieces of paper and said, very, very soon, very, very soon, we've only got 4 manual pages of transactions to do, and then the bridge will be open. That is what I heard. And then there were dates, and they came and they went. And still the bridge remained shut, and still people had no access to their funds, and mostly still people remained quiet. And I don't know why. And I thought that basically that meant that nobody got any money until somebody said, no, the leaders or anybody who is selling a product still gets their kickbacks. The kickbacks are paid through a different method. Now, I believe that to be true. I've said that on previous meetings and nobody has contradicted me, so I'm assuming that is true. So if you were selling Boomerang, you continue to get paid and the bridge remained ignored. If you sold a $500 license, you got a $25 kickback. If you sold a $1,000 license, you got a $50 kickback. 3,000 license, $150 kickback. A $5,000 license, $250 kickback. And if you sold a $10,000 license, and we heard of quite a few people on those meetings who had purchased one, whoever the upline was, whoever the referral was, $500, and they got paid. Then out comes Trash Sheet with his spreadsheet, a list of numbers on a sheet with auto calculations happening. You can buy the license, that'll cost you money. There's a platform fee of 5%. there's a flash loan fee of 5%, and there's a gas fee. There's estimates of gas fees. And depending on how fast it took you to do this trades, depending on how many hours or days or weeks you wanted to work, and depending on the average amount of the interest that you gained on each trade, the profits was worked out. And it seemed for some very, very impressive. And we were told, how could you lose? How could you lose? It's addictive. You need to try it. And calculations were mostly done on a flash loan of 300x. The thing is that some things began to change. Now only the first license would be 300x, and yet I thought everything was going to be 300x. So get in quick. Then only those who registered bought their license before March the 1st would get 300x. And then only those who registered for March the 1st would be able to renew throughout all of March. Everybody else would have to wait till April. So get in quick. Show it to the people. They need it. Get in quick. And you can get your kickback as well. Plus a check match bonus, which I still don't understand, but apparently that's a good thing. But wait, there's more. Sell $100,000 and get a trip to Dubai. So get in quick. Okay, how about you sell $50,000 and you get a trip to Dubai? So get in quick. Everything was getting quick. Everything is FOMO, fear of missing out. Have you experienced the fear of missing out? Did you get in quick? Did you encourage others to get in quick? All the while this get in quick, push, push, push was going on, some people were saying, what's going on here? This looks too good to be true. Some of us were thinking, maybe this should be the time that we get into crypto. Some of us were looking a little bit deeper. Other people were looking much deeper. And some people were coming up with a few holes, a few things that they thought they needed to create videos on and ask some questions. A few things that some people said, well, no, I think you're wrong. But again, nobody gave any proof, even though people were saying this does not look right. Well, tonight, I'm going to show you, before I show you the news that came out today, tonight I'm going to show you a brief recap on what some of those YouTubers were saying. One of those YouTubers, perhaps the most prominent, apart from the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, who has several videos, several people talking about Boomerang, was Crypto G. Crypto G came out with several videos specifically about Boomerang. So I just want to play you one of them. It's not this one, but you can watch all of these. This one here is about Boomerang, part 1. But I want to play you just a little bit from this one here.
From the horse's mouth, so there are no inaccuracies. The contracts and the dexes and the flash loan and the user distribution wallets all listed and labeled. So
that was the explanation. You know, very specific, very in-depth, simple, easy to follow? Well, not really. Not really at all. And Crypto G goes into explaining, well, is that the way it actually worked? And we realized eventually that it wasn't quite how Chavez had explained it. If you've been on any of the previous videos of Crypto G or myself recently, you will explain, you will understand that the trades have 8 and then they had 9 transactions. And apparently the extra transaction added through the smart contract was supposed to make things clearer, but not really, because when we looked at these trades, they seemed to show a loss. And later on, I'm going to attempt to show you a loss. But just in case I forget, I'm going to show you it on here. Started off with 87.76, which they sent away here to purchase an asset. They got it back here at 89.42, which they moved down here, 89.42, which they sold and brought back at 80.70. So from 80.30, sorry, you'll see 80.30 is a lot less than the 87.76 that they started off with. It appears on this that there was a loss of $7.46. And then they had to pay the gas fees and they had to pay back the flash loan, which is here. That's the gas fee, 3 cents. And then they had to pay back the flash loan at 87.81. But they only had $80.30. So there's a shortfall of $7.51. $7.51. Yet a profit was paid out of $1.12. Does that make sense to you? Because it does not make sense to me. Let's move on and have a look at this snippet from another Crypto G video.
Let me show you a transaction.
Okay.
So a lot of people get bamboozled by that because they don't really understand what an arbitrage is. An arbitrage is quite simply this. You have money or you borrow money to go and purchase an underpriced asset somewhere, which you then go somewhere else and you sell it at a higher price and you reap the profit after having paid back the money that you borrowed. It's quite simple and it will show up in the transactions. But even though we explain that and we show it and nobody says that we're wrong in our understanding of how that trade works, still people press on. They don't think there's anything wrong with Boomerang. It's not too good to be true. It's good and it's true. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure that it is. So you've seen a Boomerang trade. You've seen how we think that it is showing a loss. But the problem is that it keeps on going. It keeps on going, and there's still holes. So today we had something happen from one of our subscribers who pointed out something that we had suspected could be going on, but we didn't really know what was actually going on. But today, there's an interesting thing because there was a training earlier today. And you bear with me, I'm going to bring up a short video of something that I just did, not realizing anything would actually come of it. And it was that when this trade was happening, I decided to open up my own market opportunities page and push it over so that it was on the side to see whether the market opportunities of the live trade were going to match what I was seeing on my part of the DApp. So hopefully you could hear that, because that said that I know, I hate this program. Anyway, today I recorded a trade that was done live on the training. And just for the sheer hell of it, I brought up my own market opportunities and I stuck it on the side. So you can see right here is where the training is going to perform the trade. Now this video goes for 4 minutes 45 seconds. I cut this bit out. This here is the page that I stuck up, which will come up with the market opportunities. And over here are the market opportunities of the person who's doing the trade live. So both of these are being shown basically live at the same time, but obviously one's on the training being recorded and one's on my computer screen, and I'm recording my screen. So just listen to this and see if you can work out what's going on.
Put back live not too long ago, so it is a bit slow. Everybody is trying to trade. Okay. Here we go. I see USDC and RAT ETH. I'm going to try this. USDC. I will do, before I do that, let's take a look. I have some funds here, so I'll go about $100.
Now, the thing that I found interesting here is that while he's doing this, because it's showing about 1.01, on my screen, it's changing all the time. It's being very volatile and it's going up and down, but nowhere near 1.1.
$100, submit. And then I select the second, which is roughly, I do WE. Click. It's going to search for me. Might take a while. Here we go. I have 1.13%. I go ahead and click on confirm.
Now, we're 1 minute 14 seconds into this video. He's found the market opportunity. He's mucked around a little bit waiting for things, and he's just about to confirm it. And we've seen on the side of the screen over here how that price has gone up and down. But he's confirming that at, I think, 1.13. And look how long it takes for that trade to go through. And all the time I'm refreshing my screen, I'm not getting anywhere near 1.13.
Confirm. Okay, let's go, MetaMask.
We're now 2
Taking a
minutes
little longer
in.
than normal. So this might cause it to end up in a losing trade, but
Now remember, he accepted this at 1.13. The market opportunities when I'm refreshing is still changing and time is ticking by.
let's take a look. Here we go. It says that the gas is about $1.12. I don't believe it, so I'm going to click confirm. Sometimes it's an estimate, just the maths that will be used up in the event that it has to use that up. Okay. So we did USDCE and wrapped ETH. Okay. Transaction confirmed. But that is taking a little bit to present it for us. I'm going to jump into my MetaMask.
3 minutes.
Take a look right here and look for USD. Oh, I don't have USDC here, but I could go to activities and look at the last transaction that was done on blockchain. And you will see if I go to here, let's see, time 1 minute ago. So that was just executed. And here it shows the smart contract. Or I purchased here 100 USDC. I gave it back. Okay, you can see. If you over.
We decided to go slow.
Feedback 105 cents and $1.14 was.
So this is one of the Boomerang leaders. This is one of the leaders in Wearable Satoshi. Right in front of us here is a trade. Now this shouldn't have gone through. This took far too long to go through. Came up at 1.1 initially. When he confirmed it, it was 1.13. And yet, even though I'm refreshing at the same time, I'm getting nowhere near that on my market opportunities at exactly the same time. So let's have a look at this trade. Started with 99.90 of USD, traded it here and got 99.44, which he traded there and got 99.39. And because he's ended up with 99.39 when he started at 99.90, he's lost money. He's lost 51 cents. He's got to pay the gas fee here, which is a nominal amount, and he's got to pay the flash loan fee. So he ends up paying 99.95, but he only had 99.39. Has he made any money? No, he has not made any money. But a profit has been paid of 114. So this is just what we see time and time and time again. But what I found really interesting is how could that have got, where does the profit come from? But how could he have got 1.13? You'll see it right there, 1.13% profit, when 1.13 was never an option. It was never over 1 when I was refreshing at the same time. So how do you explain that? Well, the short answer is you can't. You cannot explain that because it doesn't make any sense. So is there a way that any of this comes together to make any sense at all? Well, apparently there is, believe it or not. I couldn't actually believe it myself, but someone who was a subscriber, as I said, gave us a clue. And he said, you say about you can't see a 1.3% trade. So on here, can you see 1.3 anywhere on there? Okay. Have you ever seen 1.3 or above on there? 1.3, sorry. Have you ever seen it? So what if I were to say that 1.31 and over was impossible? What would you think? Would you think that I'm being stupid, particularly when you've seen trades that are far higher, particularly when you go into top trades and you'll see trades that are well into the 40%. So what's going on? Where do they come from? Well, the interesting thing is the person said, go and have a look at the code. So that's what we did. Now, this here is from earlier today. Now, when I looked before, the site was down. So we'll just go and see whether the site is actually up again when I find my keyboard. No, the site is down. So fortunately, I opened up the site and it's been open all day in here. So I want to draw your attention to something, that if you type inspect, in fact, I may even have the wrong page up, but that's okay because I've got it on another page, which is right here. We prepared this earlier, as we say. So that's the site right now. Just refresh that and make sure. Yeah, so that's down. So here is hopefully the site that we had before. If you right click, I think it is, on any website, you'll get a drop down menu. And at the bottom of that menu, I think it's at the bottom, is an option to inspect. And you can go and have a look at the code of that site. So if you haven't followed anything, let's follow this. So there's going to be a tree here. And if you go to top and then to beta.boomerang.trade, and then if you go to static, and then if you go to JS, which I think stands for JavaScript, and scroll down here until you come to assets and opportunities. These opportunities is the code for the market opportunities. And guess what? There are all of your peers. And when I was at the top of this, I thought, oh, maybe this doesn't actually mean what I think it means, because it had all the peers up here. And down here, it's got the maximum percentage. And I thought, well, could that be the maximum percentage that any peer could actually show? And are these all comma separated? And they are. Apparently, I think there's 47 of these, but they didn't add up. And I thought they would, because when I had a look at like the first value there, and I had a look up here, Rapmatic LDO would basically be saying that the maximum percentage that could show is 1.3, and the minimum percentage it could show is 0.52. And it's random. Now, I don't totally understand code. So if you do understand code, or if you know someone who understands code, go and have a look at this and ask them what it means. So I put it into ChatGPT. But when I scrolled down here, because I wanted to check it, I came down to, it's quite a way down, this here in red. And in here in red, we've got down here maximum percentage and minimum percentage. Now this is live and I haven't checked all these. So I'm either gonna make a complete fool of myself or we're gonna prove something. So I just need to bring up that other page, which has got the market opportunities from earlier on. Now, I'm assuming that the script didn't change at some stage today. That would be quite funny. Hopefully I didn't ruin that page. Where is it? Is that, there we go. It's underneath. Okay, so let's do some market analysis. If you like. Let's stick that over there, stick this here, and let's do some checking. So USDT DAI. So let's find it on the list, and it has to be in the right order. So USDT DAI, USDT, hopefully it's at an end, that'll make it easier. Okay, right, so there it is there. So from the bottom, now remember it's not that one because it's heading the other way. That just changed on me, but it'll still be there somewhere. Somewhere. There. Okay. Now you see how low that is. It's 0.0995. So it's very, very low. It's below 0.1. So it starts with USDT. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's fifth from the bottom. Is that right? That is USDT, isn't it? Yep. So it's fifth from the bottom. So let's have a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the highest that can go is 1.03. Remember, these are random. And the lowest that can go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.06. So where is he gone? 0.09 is higher than 0.06, so it's higher than the minimum. And have a look that a lot of these can't go that low because these are the minimums. Some of them can, but a lot of them can't. Let's choose another one that's either very high, very low. So this one, Rapmatic Sand, 1.117. Rapmatic Sand. So where's that on the list? Better be on here. So there it is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 down. So the highest that can go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1.3. And the lowest it can go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 0.17, and it's in that range. So you can go and have a look for yourself. But what does this say? Well, how this is supposed to work is probably the best place to go. How this is supposed to work is that if we refresh the page and we bring up beta.boomerang.trade, if we refresh the page, there is a clue right at the start, which I saw and I was surprised by, but I didn't know what it meant. But I did tell people, and it will be on one of my videos, and that is that when you bring up the beta site straight away, you know how it's all blurry and it says fetching datas, and I make a joke out of the datas, the misspelling and stuff. But when it comes up and it's blurry, you can see the carousel of the market opportunities is right there immediately that it loads. Now, how could that possibly be? Because if it's fetching datas, it can't have any information to populate that carousel showing the market opportunities going around. Unless it has already got the information, it's already chosen the peers, and it's chosen a percentage between the minimum and the max based on a random generator, and it's just the first thing that comes up below. So that's probably why when you refresh that page, that carousel is there right at the start. And we think that it's going off to exchanges and it's finding that data and it's bringing it back. And then, only then, is it showing market opportunities. But according to this, it's not. And according to ChatGPT, it's not. And we'll have a look at that soon. But what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to go off to the exchanges, have a look at the markets, work out where an arbitrage opportunity exists, and bring it back. And presumably, it's supposed to bring back the 12 highest opportunities. So we would assume that when we're looking at this here, and I'll just squeeze it out how it usually is, we would assume that when we're looking at that all of these are fresh. But we saw the other day that when you go into this market opportunities page, that it seems to refresh itself, doesn't it? But then we realized it didn't. It just rearranges itself. It's kind of smoke and mirrors. So it's just moving around, and it's doing it now. So this is a page that was open from ages before, and it's moving around as if it's refreshing itself, but you'll see that these percentages never change. Now, let's have a look at something else here. So we've got a very unusual one. We've got RNDR, which I think is a new crypto asset that they brought out. So let's see, that's quite high. It's at 1.1278. See, it's moved, it's still over there, 1.1278. And what are the mins and max for that? So RNDR, I think, is at the top somewhere. Is it Ratmatic? Yes, it is. So that's number 4. So it's at 1.1278, and that can go up to 1.2. And the minimum is 0.68. So it's a very narrow, comparatively narrow range. Now, because I ran out of time, I didn't complete this list, but I did do something before, and I'll just bring this up, and that is this here. So what this is a partially filled list, and I'll just expand this. These are the peers, and these are the mins and maxes. Now, how can I have a min and a max if it's drawing them from a website, an exchange? How could that be? Why would you write a page that's got all the peers listed in there and put their mins and maxes in that page? Why would you have a random generator? Now, if I've got this completely wrong, you know the story, as I've been saying for ages. If I've got this completely wrong, then please tell me how I've got it wrong, and I will offer a retraction. I'll put it out there, no problem at all. But I went into not crypto. I went into ChatGPT, copied the code, and I stuck it in. And I'll see if I can bring this up. And I'll just get rid of these. And just got to remember where I saw it. Just bear with me one momento. When you stick this in ChatGPT, there's an awful lot of text. So I asked this question of ChatGPT, along with a million other things. And I'll just bring this up larger when I find it. Oh, where'd that go? Just hold with me. Sorry, it's taking so long, but there's code all over the place on here. Oh, Lord, if you ever wanted to mesmerize yourself, this is a great way of doing it. Oh, this is horrendous. Bear with me. This won't take more than 2 hours, I assure you. Scrolling through that text. So I basically asked ChatGPT what this meant. And I said, are the pairs displayed and their percentages drawn from the code, or are they drawn from the back-end searching exchanges? And ChatGPT said the code you provided generates pairs and associated percentages using a combination of predefined pairs and randomization. It doesn't appear to involve any back-end logic for searching exchanges or fetching real-time data. The pairs and percentages are determined within the code itself, suggesting a simulated or predetermined scenario rather than real-time market data. So that's basically it. I don't really have anything else to add. I was going to go through today's training and have a look at how they present Boomerang and see if there was any flaws in their logic or anything. But I think the key thing is that if the code already contains the pairs, and if the code of the website already contains the maximum percentages, and if the code already contains the minimum percentages, and if we're seeing when the website comes up that those numbers for the percentages of those market opportunities are falling within those mins and maxes that are in the code, I think it would be fair to assume that that information is not coming from an exchange and being brought in, but actually already exists in that website. So you've got that, and you've got what Crypto G is talking about when he explains how the transactions are firing within a trade, and that the amount paid out for profit doesn't seem to match what we're seeing on the transactions within the trade. So why would anybody do that? Well, there's only one person, or maybe a couple of people who would know. But at the end of the day, I think that needs to be explained, because I know I personally wouldn't be comfortable selling or recommending that product until that was explained, so that I knew everything was on the level. So let's go and have a look in the chat room. Apologies for losing sound before. I am going to do a standard operating procedure for this, because this is nuts. Happens every time. You started already. I'm watching The Beekeeper. Sorry to interrupt you, Danny. No sound on the video. No. Hi, Susie. Great to have you here. Great to have you here too, Danny. There was no sound on the video. Now, all of those videos are going to have links in the description, and I encourage you to watch Crypto G's videos and go and ask some questions. And if you don't ask some questions, well, you're not doing your due diligence. Isn't that cool how a green drink appears on screen? Sounds good now. Probably sounds good when you can't hear me as well, Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Good to have you here. Otherwise, we will learn how to lip read. You could do that. I might do sign language next time as well. Make sure it sounds streamed out. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I need to get off my ass and actually sort this properly. Doesn't matter. I can hear you thinking, Rob. That's excellent. Proud of you. Boom. So I don't know what more to say because, look, to be perfectly honest, I don't think it would really matter what anybody says about Boomerang. If people want to buy Boomerang, they'll go and buy it. But I certainly would be asking some questions. Now, remember, just you don't have to believe me. The site is down at the moment, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to risk losing this and hit refresh and see if it comes up. No, it's still down. Now, I wonder if you can inspect the down website. No, you can't, obviously. So let's go on to just a random website and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So let's go on to YouTube and let's, oh, where's that button? Surely this is going to come up now. What can we go on to? What can we go on to? How come it doesn't work there? It's bizarre. What? Just type images for the sheer hell of it. Oh. Okay, help me out. How come inspect is not coming up? Does that not work on Safari? Must work on Safari. I can't work out how that goes now. No, surely it'll work on Safari, wouldn't it? Let's think of another website, Apple. All right, let's find somewhere where it's maybe you got to highlight over something. I can't find it at all now. That is bizarre. Is it only a Google thing? Can't be, surely. Hold on, I'm just going to have a look on Google. Better stop playing Apple, might get in trouble for that. Yeah, just bear with me. This is quite bizarre. Oh no, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, maybe you can't do that on Safari. Never ever thought about that. Didn't realize I was on Chrome when I was doing it. However, all right, so this is Google. That'd be embarrassing if I couldn't bring it up, wouldn't it? So there we go. Right click, inspect. Click on that, and this is what you get. So you can see there's a whole lot of code, and there's a lot of tabs along here. I should have told you which one we were in before. I'm pretty sure it was sources. And you see how you got top here, et cetera, and there's a JavaScript bit down there. Tap on that and you'll see all the code. So I invite you to do that. Have a look earlier on the video to see what the tree was to go and inspect that code. Site's down at the moment. It'd be interesting to know what changes they are making to it. And maybe, well, who knows? Who knows? I don't think I've got anything more to say. I think at some stage people believe what they want to believe, but I know what I believe. So thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. If you got any value from this video, please give me the thumbs up. Sorry I wasn't a little bit better prepared, but there's actually, like, I took so many notes. You could have been talking like for hours and hours on this. But you know the story. Ask questions. If you got any comments, please put them in the chat room. If you've got any errors in fact that you think I made, please stick it in the chat room so we can all learn. If you've got any question statements or any funny jokes to tell, stick that in the chat room as well. You want to see more videos, please hit subscribe. Until next time, happy investing and do your due diligence. Hasta la vista. And JB Coda, hello. And hello to everybody else. Hope you have a great night or a great day wherever you are. Bye for now. I was just going to go straight through that, not look at the chat and get on with it. Anyway, without further ado, there we go. We're going to get onto it. Have a look here. This here, Fred, investment fraud from the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, State of California. We're all Satoshi and Sam Lee, although they say that was We're All Satoshi 1 and this is We're All Satoshi 2, and this one here, Stable DAO, aka Stable Opinion. I did not know that. Had you heard Stable Opinion was also Stable DAO? I've never heard of Stable Opinion, and Sam Lee. So we're going to put that up there because this is the starting point where you make decisions about whether or not you're going to get into investments, whether they're the best thing since sliced bread, crypto. I was going to say arbitration like my good buddy, but crypto AI arbitrage, flash loans, zero risk of losing, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, but you got to start somewhere, and everybody's got their threshold that they've got to jump over in order to get their money out. And for me, $500 for that smallest license, that's a lot of money. $10,000. Now, just think about that for one momento, $10,000. Forget about going in, like it's a sure thing, couldn't possibly lose. $10,000, $27,000 on nodes, staking 1,000 BTCC coins if you wanted to be a validator. Who's heard about validation on validators in the last, several months, 2 months? It's all vanished. But at any rate, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about, if I was doing my due diligence, what would I be thinking of? And I want to get straight in with this. So this is the first thing. This is Powell, whoever from Poland. Is it him? I got no bloody idea. Who would know? We don't know who he is. We don't know what his last name is. We've told that he's come from Poland, but we don't know what his credentials are, what his credibility is, what his past history is. Is he trustworthy? Don't know anything about. And one of the big things is that if you run a business here in New Zealand, you've got to abide by the CGA, the Consumer Guarantees Act. Now, most countries have got some equivalent of a Consumers Guarantees Act. And there's a few interesting things that you need for a Consumer Guarantee Act. You need to be able to go to the person that you bought the product or service from. Where do you go here? Well, you could go, always technical difficulties. You could go to this man. This is the, co-developer? We heard originally that Powell, whoever it was, the Polish guy, was the guy who came up with it. That's what I understood. But now all the changes seem to be coming from Chavez and his tech team, which is a little bit confusing, isn't it? So I don't understand. And of course, last night we were wondering whether or not Chavez AI, which is an AI idea tool, whatever, that he was talking about a while ago, was actually Boomerang. I don't know, I'm just speculating. But Chavez is only Chavez. It's not Chavez somebody, although apparently if you were in Hyper 1, he was calling himself Chavez Anwar. So why is it only Chavez? So imagine if you went to the authorities and you said, hey, I invested in the scheme, turned out to be a fraud. Not saying it is, but if it turned out to be a fraud, first question, who did you give your money to? Who did you invest with? What company? Well, I don't actually know what company it was, because you can't say we're all Satoshi because we don't think it's a company. Well, is it a company? If so, what country is it registered in? But if they wanted to know a name, you say, well, Chavez. I gave my money to Chavez. Chavez who? I don't know. And there's this other guy, Paul. Paul who? Well, I don't know. Where do they live? Well, apparently Paul's in Poland. Whereabouts in Poland? Well, I don't know. Chavez, where's he from? Well, he's Indian, but he's in Dubai. Whereabouts in Dubai? Well, I don't know. So it goes on and on and on. So that for me, but everybody's different. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but everybody's threshold is different to where they have to go. Now, this here is a snippet from the Consumer Guarantees Act here in New Zealand. And it says if you pay for something that doesn't work, breaks too easily, or doesn't do what it is expected to do, you're entitled to a repair, exchange, or sometimes a refund from the seller or service provider. The Consumer Guarantees Act only protects you when you buy from businesses and trade in New Zealand. So if I were to buy Boomer, I would not be covered by this Consumer Guarantees Act. I'd have to think, okay, well, what country's Consumer Guarantees Act is Boomerang covered by? Well, we don't know. Well, I don't know. Do you know? It says not when you buy something from a private seller or from overseas. So there you go. If there's a problem with something you buy or a service you pay for, remember there are laws to look after your consumer rights in New Zealand and probably in some other countries. So let's go to the next one. So if you go onto the website, you'd assume that this is going to put your mind at peace, because these are tech guys, these are professionals, this is a proper product. But what I found earlier is that all of these buttons don't work. Home, introduce, product, corporate, company, none of them work. Launch app goes to the DAP, so that does work. But yeah, so there's no address, there's no contact telephone numbers, don't even know what country this website is based in. So not going to get too much credibility there. Again, due diligence, or this would fall over now. Because one of the big things for me personally is I want to know, where are the physical offices? Where are the physical stores? Where's the contact phone number? If anything goes wrong, I call them up. And of course, most of the time we take it for granted that all that exists, but it doesn't here. Chavez did say that he was going to upgrade the website, but wouldn't you do that first, particularly if you're going to sell licenses through there, and that's going to be the portal? And remember the other night, I was telling you about all the social media links along the bottom of the page? When I had a look just before, they weren't there. They were gone. They were gone. So if anything went wrong, let's speculate for a minute. How big is Poland? And if we flew there and asked for Paul, Pavel, whatever, do you think someone would be able to point us in the right direction? Well, apparently Poland's actually not that small. This is not to scale, by the way. Yes, it's a lot bigger than your monitor, a lot bigger than my monitor. Gdansk is up there. Mate, be a prize. I reckon if you could actually pronounce 10 of these properly, you should earn a $500 Boomerang license. So that takes care of Paul. We probably wouldn't be able to find him if anything went wrong. But would I be able to find Chavez? Because he's in Dubai. And I've been to Dubai. Dubai is a lot smaller, but originally came from India. So I reckon if I flew to India, got off a plane, you know, whether it be Mumbai, New Delhi, wherever, and said, hey, where's Chavez? Someone would know. You know, like it's not like there's going to be a lot of Chavezes in India, is it? You know, it's not like it's got over 1 billion people or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure if I said Chavez and narrowed it down by saying the guy who's involved with Boomerang, most of these people would know. Most of the people would know. But if I went to Dubai, well, that's a lot smaller. That's a lot smaller. Now, there's 7 Emirates in the United Arab Emirates. Dubai is just one of them. So I've already narrowed it down quite a lot because I know which emirate it is, even though some people say that they live in Dubai when they're in one of the other emirates, like Sharjah, which is where I stayed. People say, well, where did you go to? You say Dubai because that's what everybody's heard of, not Sharjah or any one of the small emirates, which is only a little drive away. But I reckon if I got off the plane in Dubai or even Abu Dhabi and said, just take me to Chavez, please, I reckon that taxi driver would know exactly where to take me. and away I'd go. So that would give me a little bit of peace of mind, wouldn't it? Right? So how are we going so far for due diligence? Well, so I went into the United Arab Emirates, and believe it or not, you can actually go in there. This is the company's register, or the United Arab Emirates equivalent. And I stuck in Where or Satoshi. Apparently, there's a Arabic writing starts from the right-hand side and goes across. Quite freaky. But there's an English button that you can press on the other side. Turns it to English. Typed in Where or Satoshi and came up with no data to display. Typed in Boomerang. Of course, everybody would know Boomerang. They would have registered that, of course. Well, no data to display on that either. So, where is Boomerang? Which got me thinking, has it been, what's the word? Intellectual property. Has it been registered somewhere? Has the company been registered? Is there a company behind it? Is it just like a piece of software that isn't protected, so someone could come along and copy it? I don't know. But I thought, this is high tech, so they would have thought about all this. So, I guess I'm erring on the side of not investing, doing my due diligence so far, but something could change. Now, just for the sheer hell of it, I typed in Crypto Wild West into Google just to find an image, and lo and behold, check this. Like, crypto is a bit like the Wild West, isn't it? If you go into Google and search Crypto Wild West, you come up with all manner of things, because for all intents and purposes, because of the lack of regulation out there, it is like that. Have a look at some of these images. I particularly like this one here and that one there with a kind of, I'm assuming that's a Bitcoin coming up in the background, and Wild West with all of these tokens or coins in front of their faces. So it is a little bit like the Wild West. So would this increase or decrease my chances of investing? I think it would decrease them. So I went back to the website and I thought, is there anything else on here that can give me some credibility, some reassurance? And of course, then I remembered that if you scroll down this page, it's not actually finished. It's not finished. Some of the icons are left open. Some of the boxes have been populated by repeat data. So I think, well, that doesn't really help me either. And I really want to feel secure in the knowledge that I'm making a good decision here. So where else could I go? Well, I could go into the DAP and have a look at the market opportunities. Now, we've all seen live trades and all this, and we've read some of the data, we've heard some of the stories. So let's go into market opportunities. And last night and the day before and the day before and the day before that, I keep on asking, how there's these top trades that are like 30, 40, right up to 50.00000 recurring percent. How many people have seen anything over 1.3 on a market opportunity? Because you remember, if you got one of those big trades, it must have come up as a market opportunity. And just remember, scrolling through market opportunities, hitting refresh, refresh, and not waiting for that automatic refresh, because that's just a reorder, don't you? When it clicks and changes around, that it hasn't refreshed all the data in the background. It's merely rearranged them, a bit like those 3 cups. What do you call that game when you go like that? Like, can you still find the cup? Can you still find the marble or the pea under the cup? So I've never seen anything 1.3 or higher on these market opportunities. But imagine if you're using this and it comes up like 50%. Boom! Man, your hands will get all sweaty, right? Your mouse would slip out of your hand as you're trying to race in there and confirm the 2 assets that you need. And how much would you stick on it? And I just thought about something. It's amazing when I talk out loud, and probably when you talk out loud, you have more thoughts. How come when one of those big trades has come up, People haven't like piled on every cent of flash loan. How come they're not for like 10,000 like crypto assets or whatever? I've only just thought about that. So does this give me credibility? Nada. So what else was there? Well, whoops. Oh, I see what's going on there. So I thought, well, surely there's not contradictory pairs, because that would kind of decrease my confidence even more. And oh, there were USDC stablecoin with wrapped Ethereum. Oh no, look at that right down the bottom. And I'm thinking, well, how can that be? And still to this day, no one has actually definitively told me. They thought, well, it could be on two different exchanges, that there's an arbitrage opportunity and they're opposites and all this. But isn't it a bit of a coincidence how that happens every single day? Every single day. I'd say 60 to 70% when I bring out these market opportunities, there's a conflicting here. Just like that, just in case. So I thought I'd make it a bit more visual tonight, just in case, because, you know, Danny was saying the other day, you'll know Danny, the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, dodgy guy, good mate, but dodgy guy. In the best possible taste. He was saying, you know, do you think that he's actually making a difference? And I said, well, I have no idea, you know, like people would have to wade through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of YouTube video to kind of get little shreds of tips and hints and stuff about working out whether or not they're doing the right thing. And I thought, well, what if we made it more visual? So for those people out there who don't know what a contradictory pair is, it's when you've got the two assets, but supposedly on one exchange there's an arbitrage going one way, and on another exchange there's an arbitrage going the other way. Now, what's the likelihood of that? I have no bloody idea. But if to the untrained eye, like I am, someone told me that the other day, and I said, you know nothing about dexes and blah, 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 blah. He's right. Well, assuming it's he. Whoever it is, they're right. But I do know enough to ask what seems on the face of it, prima facie, to be suspicious, or at least cause for concern. Maybe I'm overreacting. So what else is there? There's this infamous trade. Now, this trade, some people might say, well, you're plucking this out. This is an outlier. Of course it's a bloody outlier. It's $899 bloody profit for $100. Of course that's an outlier. But this is the one where several of us have tried to make head or tail of what is actually going on. And I don't know if you're like me. The first time you look at that, you go, oh, well, you know, the only transaction on here that makes any importance is this one right here. Look at that. I love how I can do that. And that figure, I can't quite reach that figure right there. $899.27. Proof positive. You can make that much money. I'm in. I should sign up straight away. But someone with a brain bigger than me fit into a similar size head, worked this all out. Took me a little while to get my little head around it. And I put this up with a caveat or a condition that this is what we believe, and no one yet has actually proven it's not true. Now, Chavez says that we are people who aren't smart enough. Get to that. But let's have a look. So try to make this as easy peasy lemon squeezy so that even other people with my pea-sized brain can understand. So I've numbered the transactions. See that? Right, right there. Okay, so those are the transactions. Those are the transactions that they find. Now, interestingly, when I was doing this and putting these slides together, I realized that that is actually not right. And I think I've changed it. So here's what we used to think, that it started at number 1, then it went to the third transaction down was the second one that actually fired. Then the second one was the third one that fired. Then the fifth one was the fourth one that fired. And that is bloody confusing, okay? But the hint here is, where's the money? Where's the money going to? And you'll see that the wallets have been named in here. So it's got to go from the Boomerang contract or to the Boomerang contract at each time, okay? And so we've worked it out on the next slide. Now this hopefully will be clearer than mud. Look at that. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. People are going, what the hell is that? And I actually think I've made a mistake on here already. Oh my God, have I? No. This actually takes into account what I think is a gas fee and where that gas fee would fire. But I'm going to talk you through this very quickly for my due diligence, okay? So that there is, are they paying Boomerang contract wallet the flash loan, $100, okay? So are they to Boomerang for $100? Okay, remember, we go down to number 2. Now you got to remember who has actually got the money. Who's got the money? So after this one, Boomerang contract has got the money. Okay, so then it's got to be a from Boomerang contract, has to be the next one, and it's here, from Boomerang contract to Uniswap for 100. So we got 100, and then we sent 100. And then we got back the crypto asset. We spent 100 of one asset, and we got 92.855 of another asset. Okay. So now we've got 92.55 of an asset. So where has that been sent? Well, you got to go down to number 4. So Boomerang now sends that asset to Algebra. 92. So you'll see that 3 and 4 are exactly the same amount of money. Okay. So came in there. All right. Went out there. Came back in there and went out in number 4. Now, number 5, we think, is because it's in Algebra. This is what I think anyway. It's in Algebra. So Algebra has paid the gas fee. I'm assuming that's the gas fee. So that's actually technically going to be 5. And then the next one is going to bring the asset back. So this is a simple thing on these transactions, okay? And remember, in order, as it appears on Polygon, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be in the order that it is listed there, right? If this figure here that you ultimately got back is bigger than this figure, you made money. That's how I understand it. If this figure, and basically the 4th transaction is higher than the 3rd transaction in order that it's shown on Polygon, excuse my red numbers, if that figure is bigger than that, you made a profit. Because that's what you started off with, and that's what you ended with, okay? And then you come down here and you pay your money back to Aave on the flash loan, and you've got 899 left, but actually, by the looks of this, you had 9938. And from that 9938, you had to pay the flash loan back of $100 $100.04. So by the looks of it, you're actually short 66 cents. Is that right? 66 cents. So there's no $899. Now, as I always say, if I'm wrong, literally show me the money. Show me the money. How's this? Oh, look at this. This is a beautiful slide. So this time I've actually sliced all those transactions and I've stuck them in order and put the corresponding number next to it that they fire in according to my, according to my little pea-sized brain. Flash loan received, $100. You send the $100 off. You get the other asset back. You send that one off. You pay the gas fee. You get something back. What you get back, if it's higher than what you sent off, there will be a profit, right? From what you get back, you have to pay back your flash loan with the flash loan fee. Remember, you got the gas fee out there and the flash loan fee. And once you've, that figure there, less that figure there should be your profit. Okay, you follow that? That's the figure you got back from your arbitrage trading. You're paying the flash loan back. That minus that is your profit. So you'd think that would have to be higher than that to be a profit. So explain that, somebody. All right. Clear as mud. If you're still confused, there's nothing else I can do. I can't move from here and stick it on a whiteboard, but I don't think it'd make any sense anyway. But the thing is, it doesn't matter because I'm doing my due diligence on here, and I almost never get anybody come onto any of my videos as long as I've been doing them and say, oh, but Rob, how does this work? Or da, 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 da. You know, so people obviously aren't watching other people's videos to get an alternative view, so they don't care. That's fine. So Xavier's got asked about this, and he basically said, I can't remember his exact words, right, but he was implying that it's all kosher, all right, just that it's very hard to explain and it happens in the smart contract or something like that. Well, I think it's the emperor's new clothes and I can't see them, so I'm thick. In blockchain we trust. Now I stuck this up here because when you go into this, all of these were actually transactions on the blockchain. Yep, all of them, including the last one. They did actually happen, all right? And so because it did actually happen, you think, well, what is going on? Like it obviously has. And I'm pretty sure this is why so many people are convinced, look, no one would have paid out $899 if it didn't happen. But the thing is what some people are a little bit worried by is that you can see here, and remember this wallet's been named all the way through. Boomerang contract, boomerang contract, boomerang contract, boomerang contract, boomerang contract, boomerang contract, boomerang fund controller. So the money that paid the profit was not involved in any of the previous transactions. Now, this is an old trade. So to be fair, there is now 9. You'll see there's 8 here, but there's now 9 transactions. And there's a transaction that now goes in here that shows a transfer from the Boomerang contract to the Boomerang fund controller of the equivalent of the profit. So the last 2 in a 9 transaction trade, the last 2 will be exactly the same for the amount of profit. Now, does that prove that the profit's real? No, not on the face of it, not to my mind. And of course, you got to remember this has been going for 2 months. People have been asking these questions. I would have thought this would have come up on one of the meetings. And it'd be fantastic if it did, because then this would totally change my due diligence and thinking. So what if it's a simulation? What if it was, if it was a simulation, it's still happening on the blockchain. There's still those transactions happening on the blockchain because the blockchain doesn't lie. All right. So that money's been changed around. So if it was a simulation, then if these figures were all real, and I don't know that we've got any, what would you call it, objective, neutral, verifying source that these are real, because all this happens behind the scenes, if you like, and it turns up on the DAT. But if this was real, but if this was a simulation, if those figures were real, but this was a simulation, then whoever's behind the scheme has paid out $290,000 to make it look legit. Now, that's 29 $10,000 licenses. So how many are there supposed to be out there? I don't know that I've ever heard an actual figure, but there's been implications, is that the right word? There's thousands of licenses. So if there were thousands of licenses, like 1,000 $500 licenses is $500,000. So that would be a lot more than 290,000. But if there was 1,000 10,000 ones, that is, think about this. 1,000 10,000 ones, that's 100,000. That's $10 million. So yeah, that would be 290,000. Not a lot of money, but these figures do come with a question mark. They do come with a question mark. Now, one of the things that people have said is that, oh, you YouTubers are only in it for the money. Well, I haven't made a cent out of YouTube. I'm not even monetized, right? And all you evil YouTubers, you must have some ulterior motive. I can't think of any ulterior motive that I'd have to make this stuff up and lie about how I would come up with doing my own due diligence, how I look at something, all right? And I don't know anybody else who would come up with fake stuff either just to make it up. Doesn't mean that we are right. Doesn't mean that our logic is right. Doesn't mean that our understanding is spot on, all right? But people have had plenty of opportunity to put us right. Some people have criticized us, and some people have come up with some harebrained rationale. But I haven't heard anything yet to sway me on some of these things. All right? So there's always an opportunity. I stick it in all of my videos. If I've made a mistake, we got something that I got wrong, stick it in the comment section, chat, gladly retract it. All right. All right, because I hope to hell everybody's making money out of Boomerang and continues to do so. So YouTube is not a license to print money. You know, when you're getting like 100 views a video or even 1,000 views a video, you know, those people that are getting 1 million views a video, all right, they make a fair bit of money, but it's not a humongous amount of money, right? And you know, I don't think anybody would ever come up with, you know, stupid ideas and stick them on YouTube. No, that's a stupid thing. There's a lot of people who come up with stupid ideas and stick them on YouTube, but at the end of the day, I think everybody's just curious about a lot of these crypto projects and how they work. So please educate us. Education and entertainment, that's what it's all about. So is there a history here? Because, you know, people say the best predictor of what's going to happen in the future is what happened in the past. So have any of these people been involved in Hyperverse? Because Hyperverse fell over and everybody's calling it a scam or a Ponzi scheme. And of course, some people have been charged and one person pled guilty to those charges. Has anybody been involved in Hypernation? And has anybody, this here is actually Hyper One from best that I can sell. And we know that some of these people have been in Hyper. You know, right? Does that mean that they're not credible? Well, no, not necessarily. Right? Just means that they've made mistakes in the past, so they could be actually making a mistake again. So is there anybody who's totally impartial here? Well, possibly not, unless you're not involved. So I think the YouTubers are probably the most impartial, but I guess the new people that are coming in with an open mind are impartial. But are there any reasons to think that anybody's not impartial? I guess is a good question to ask. Are there any rewards for selling any of these things? Are there any kickbacks? Are there any, is there any financial incentive for people to sell? But of course, that also doesn't mean that it's not kosher either. Because if you walk into most department stores, a lot of people are working on commission. If they don't make a sale, they don't feed their wife and kids or their family or anything like that. So, a lot of questions come in. But where are you at? Where are you at? I'd love to hear where you're at. So are there any carrots that have been dangled in front of people to encourage people to buy licenses in this? Well, that's a little word cloud that I thought was interesting. With some people, particularly in MLM, can get quite pushy, get aggressive, manipulative even, right? But that is not necessarily to say that that's happening in anything here. But are there any introductory offers that encourage you to invest sooner rather than later? Well, there's 3x if you invest sooner rather than later, because after that it's 2x. But of course, if it's profitable at 300x, then it's still going to be profitable at 200x. So are there any free trips being given away? Well, apparently there are. Are there any exclusive offers? Well, apparently this at the moment is exclusive to We're All Satoshi people, so you feel special. Is it new and improved? Well, apparently they're saying that this is a world first. This has never been done before, at least not the way that it is now. Is there time pressure? Well, apparently is. Some of these people are getting a free trip if they sell X amount between February 5th and February 20th. And of course, you have to get in before March the 1st when it all comes off, goes out of the beta testing. Are there any selling commissions? Well, we know there's 5%. Is 5% enough to make anybody do any nefarious stuff? Not a hell of a lot of money. Some people would say that's quite low. Do people talk about generational wealth if you get in on this? Well, I have heard that. And is there any fear of missing out? Well, there's a bit of that too. But of course, none of these things necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with it. So I'm curious, where do you sit? Where do you see things? But I think back and I think, well, this was supposed to have been the Christmas present. This was supposed to be the Christmas present. And most Christmas presents are free, aren't they? But this is a new product. But apparently it's supposed to be such a great product that, this is a gift because they could have sold it elsewhere. Possibly they could have if it's all kosher. So, the other thing for me, if I'm sticking my money somewhere, I have to know that everything gives me trust, reassurance. I'm feeling secure that everything's safe. So has it been hacked at all? Well, apparently the NFT miners at some stage were hacked, the NFT market. Is there anything else? Well, there's a graph that seems to mislead on the website as if the BTCC coin's going up all the time. There's drop-down menus that, aren't working, and you'd think that's pretty basic stuff for anybody who's at the cutting edge of technology. And of course, we saw before, and I might show you after this, that the Boomerang website isn't functioning properly. The crypto bridge went down. So that's another thing. Some people have been saying that there's some software issue with the bridge. I don't totally understand it. And of course, over here, so these are the two screenshots showing the trades and a flash loan used and total profit before it went down for maintenance. And this is after, and that has fundamentally changed. So can you have total trust in this? Maybe there's good reasons for all this. I just don't know what they are. So in the absence, I'd be tending, to be very cautious myself. And this brings me to the end, and this was the best quote that I could find. Karma is like a boomerang. What you give out will always come back to you. Karma is like a boomerang. What you give out will always come back to you. So let's have a look in the chat room before we do a quick roundup of BTCC and what else is new happening on Boomerang. And then you got Ben. Hello, Rod. I can see you now. Yes, my apologies for the false start earlier on. I can't. I'm about the worst person to talk about anybody else's technology, aren't I? Stable Deo and Stable Opinion were on the same platform. Cool. Didn't know that. Well, they operated on the same platform. Yep. JB Coda, Chavez is definitely not in charge. That's the silhouette who runs it. Some people have been saying that. I have no idea. You could look for Sam Lee in Dubai. Yeah, well, actually, Sam Lee could have a pretty good profile around the bars, couldn't he? Is Sam Lee still in charge? Well, who would know? Who would know? I guess they'll find out when they have the party over in Dubai, which is only about eight days away. I was actually thinking I wouldn't want to be the ones that were paying for those all expenses paid trips to Dubai, given how late it is. But I guess it depends where you're flying from. I would think these trades last a few seconds, and in reality, yes, they are very, very short, but they're not going to be many at all. If it ever does launch, there's no way it's real. A lot of people are thinking that, but we're going to have a lot of egg on our face come March the 1st if everybody starts making money and we don't. Someone had sent way too much money, maybe a fault in the code. That's why they took it down. I just can't work out how those figures change so much during the maintenance when you would think no trade. Like I can't conceive what could have happened that they thought, well, this is actually wrong, so we need to change it. I can't think, like, perhaps there is something, but I can't see how the profit could have gone up. That's one of the things. I just can't see how profit could have materialized from nowhere. I could maybe understand if it wasn't recording flash loans correctly or failed trades, like if it was a failed trade, but maybe it got the flash loan, hadn't done all of the transactions properly and just sent the flash loan back and still recorded it as if it used it. You could actually see that would possibly make sense, that people's flash loan would go down from a failed trade. But then that would mean that the flash loan was too high, but it wouldn't have changed the profit. So the trade number or the flash loan would have been what? Too high? It would have been too high if that was happening. But if it was happening a lot, you would have noticed it. But it wouldn't have changed the profit. Wouldn't have changed the profit. Can't work that out. But someone will know somewhere. Hopefully they can tell me. To me, decentralized banking means someone can take your money and there is nothing that you can do about it. Yeah, and I think that, like if I put my money into a bank, I can literally walk 1 mile down the road and go in and see somebody and get my money. I hope that doesn't change. So just get rid of this. Boom. I don't need to say that. Won't be doing that one again. That's done. So this is the, we'll just refresh this. We'll just go in here. So this is a Boomerang site. And just to prove my point, so you click on home, introduce product, cooperate, company. There's nada. There's nada. So just to prove my point, you can come down here. So if I click on that, you'll see it's just not loading. It's not doing anything at all. Not a sausage. If you go and hit launch app, it will. So yeah, it's got these here as if they're in collaboration with that, but I wouldn't think they are. But maybe it's just to show that it's AI as well. But I don't know how the AI plays its part either. And we'll come down here. And you'll see that one's not populated. So they're just little things like this. I know I'm being anal, but you know, it just wouldn't happen on a professional site. That there is the same as that text. Got all this stuff. I don't know whether they actually use all those yet or not, or maybe they're coming. And down here, oh, this is here now. I was sworn that wasn't there before, but they don't work either. So you can't click on those. Oh, you can't even see that in the screen. Hold on. Oh, it's right behind my head. Sorry. I'll move me out of the way just to prove my point. Those don't work. So none of those are going to take you to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Telegram. Just to prove a point. Let's go over here. Let's stick me up there somewhere. So we've had 96,000 trades for $15.1 million and 290,000. I haven't done my maths, but just to reiterate that all these trades were averaging 1.12% profit since it came back from maintenance. And we'll just scroll up here and have a look at the top trades for the last 24 hours. But we've seen in the last couple of 3 days that these aren't actually the top trades for the last 24 hours because there's a $422 trade that stays on here. And I haven't checked the others, but I'm assuming the others were the same as well. So let's have a look. We've got a 49% one there. And people have made $11, $5, 20, 20, 8, 7. So that was one of my points, that if these profit percentages are these high, how come they don't show up on the market opportunity? I've certainly never seen anything even at 2%. I've never seen anything at 1.4%. I've never seen anything over 1.3. Well, to be honest, I haven't seen anything over about 1.27, maybe 1.28. And that's the borrow amount. But some of these are stable coins as well. So how you get an arbitrage on a stable coin, that's completely beyond me. And these here, DAI and USDC, have hardly moved at all in the last 7 days. So how there was an arbitrage in there for 38%, totally beyond me. And down here, is it still here? Yeah, there it is. So there's been there 3, maybe 4 days. And this is supposed to be updated every 24 hours. So I have no idea. And that big gap there, that big gaping gap between 22% and 9%, that's statistically unlikely. But maybe, you know, who knows? Who knows? I do know that some people were saying that Ratmatic is the one that's the most volatile and that you get your best trades of it. And you see Ratmatic accounts for a lot of these, but not all of them. And they're very, very big. They're very, very big. So that's enough of that. Just go into that market opportunities. Every time you click this, get a white page unless you refresh it. You refresh it and there'll be a conflicting pair on here. There almost always is. There probably won't be because I said that. No, there is. So Ratmatic USDT, 1.04% one way and almost 1% going the other way. There and there. Happens almost all the time. So let's go. We don't need to go there. Let's go have a look at BTCC, see what's happening there. Go to the dashboard. Oh, there was a reason why I wanted to show people this, because this is quite fascinating. He says like a complete utter nerd. So the coin hasn't gone down too much in the last day or so, but it has gone down. Volume of trading, that's very low. 5,600. That's incredibly low. So not much action going on there at all. Actually quite curious how that volume can be that low and the coin still goes down, because there's not a lot of trading at all. I don't know. I don't know how that one works. So at any rate, we're down to 64, and my mouse is just ran out of oomph. What did I want to say? So there's 64 million marketing cap. So you need 64 million to pay people out. And the liquidity pool as of last 12 hours or so, there's only 16.1 million in there. So that's about a quarter of what you'd need to pay people out. As you can see there, you got the never changing graph, which says that BTCC is up 72.5%. It's not. B fuel to mine must be at least $102, $105 now to mine a coin that you could only sell for $64. I was just speculating the other day with the person what would happen if the bridge got open. The bridge hasn't been open for, I think, over 50 days. So what do you think would happen if that bridge opened? I would think people would start swapping BTCC pretty big and get out. So that's one thing. If they did that, that would drop BTCC down probably well below $50. I'm only speculating. And I think that would mean that people would stop harvesting, if indeed they are still harvesting. So that would stop money coming into the system. The nodes get paid by BTCC. So I think their return would drop significantly. I don't know how far the BTCC coin would have to go for the nodes to stop getting a return, a proper return. They're getting something like 182% per annum, but that was based on the coin being at such a height. And I'm not too sure about the validators as well. Were the validators also getting paid based on BTCC costs? So it's quite an interesting situation to see, you know, what people will do, how they'll play it, what their strategies might be, because a lot of people may be hard up with cash. If they've invested quite a lot of their money in here and they haven't been able to get any out for a while. Just got a little bit of power back. You see that quite a lot of miners have gone up. It's gone up 0.5%. So that's going to pressure the coin, but very, very tricky to work out how that coin goes. It seems to be that it's related to the number of miners that are on the node, plus something to do with the price impact about how many people are swapping out. Probably other variables, I don't know. But if someone does know, please stick it in the comment section. I would love to know. Now, the interesting thing that I wanted to show you was in here. Now, this here keeps going down, although I don't know that that's changed in the last 24 hours. But check this out. New releases. Look how many new releases are on there. There's a huge amount. That's the most I've ever seen new releases of miners. And they're all 10x or 1x miners, and they're all pretty big numbers. So you do wonder who would have those big number miners. Like, is this a leader that's trying to cash out? But look how low they are. This is the lowest I've ever seen a 10x miner. You can buy a 10x miner for just $97. $97. So that's $970 if it was a 1x. Just smooth the decimal point. And these 1x is only $1160. So this is very low. This is like someone cashing out. But look how high these numbers are. They're all pretty high, particularly on these ones. Like, I'm not too sure how high the numbers on 10x miners go. 1x miners, it's conceivable that someone got a free miner, or someone's got free miners for GameStop memes or Boomerang licenses. But these 10x miners, I've never seen anything like that before. Look at them. About 20 of them. Are they all at the same price? All the numbers are pretty high, all around about the 10,000. So I just thought that was really interesting, going to the open market. Now, you can do a little tricky thing here. Danny showed me the other day. Do Control F, type in 10x, and just see how high those numbers on 10x miners go. There's, oh my God, is that right? There's 130. Wow, I'll just bring that down. Goodness. Oh, yeah, you can see that. Don't know if you can see it because it's large enough. There's 134 10x miners on. My God, that's huge. So at any rate, just for the sheer hell of it, let's have a look at these numbers. So they're pretty random all over the place. But let's, oh, wait on, just for accuracy, was there 12,000 there? Might have been seeing things. Think I was seeing things. Yeah, I think 10,000 hash number is about as high as they go. And just, those ones are very low. All right, but these ones are far higher. So just scroll down. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that before. Got 100x ones here at 1102. Yeah, so 10x, like they're pretty freshly minted, I'd say. So I know what I make of that, but you might make something completely different. And that, just the last thing I wanted to show you here is that you will know about this video. I've got a link in the description below. This is the California DFPI, who has issued an order against Weedle, Satoshi, and Sam Lee. But I've also put that link in for the Stable Deo one, which I only saw, I think it was yesterday. Didn't know that was up there, but that had come out around about the same time. So look, I'm quite curious about what you think about Boomerang, whether you'd put your money in. As I say, this isn't financial advice in any way. These videos are for education and entertainment purposes, and I am not a financial advisor. But this will be really fascinating to see what happens come March the 1st. And what do you think will happen? Please stick it in the comment section below. If you get any value from this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more video, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, happy investing. Bye for now.
Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session of facts and stats. Today I'm going to attempt to teach you, my fellow visionaries, how to swim against a rising tide of hype and hysteria and calculate that path to safer ground. By now, your inboxes are surely overflowing with promises of 100x gains from so-called revolutionary projects that have never been done before. Yet you find yourself inexorably drawn once more into the breach of yet another too good to be true scheme promising riches beyond imagination. Do not feel ashamed, though, for who among us can resist the siren song of compounding returns? But tread cautiously as the vultures gather overhead, eagerly awaiting the chance to prey upon our optimism with the offer of an opportunity of a lifetime. ask yourself, why does your finger hesitate to unravel the so-called complex mechanics underpinning this house of cards known as the Boomerang contract? You no doubt are wondering, could this flashy fanfare be masking yet another vehicle for financial trickery and deception? So I feel the time has come to pierce this veil of wizardry and uncover the banal reality of a few lines of code redirecting a relentless redistribution of USDT from the many to the few. But despair not, for in knowledge there is power, and armed with truth we can rebuild the foundations for a future aligned with visionaries shaping history rather than con men twisting it to their gain. Beyond all the fancy decorations, we just simply need to follow the money flow and see what that tells us. Investor funds go into the Boomerang contract. They get shuffled around from contract to contract, but eventually end up pooled under a familiar name we discovered in the previous video, Mr. Hyper One Holder, aka Chavez Limited. If you haven't seen The King's Gambit, then I suggest that you head there next. All the complex mechanisms in between are simply distractions. Mr. Hyper One gains control as the scheme's architect, and the users funding this entire operation end up fighting desperately just to get their 1x back. It's a classic bait and switch. Lure people in with promises of innovation, dazzle them with jargon-filled white papers, which in reality was a scribbled excuse for a white paper without the necessary detail. But when the smoke clears, the money has simply changed hands from the crowd to a single entity and its collaborators. No new value or unique utility is created despite the technological illusions. In reality, you don't need to comprehend every nut and bolt of this supposed machine. The core money transfer tells a clear story after cutting through the noise. Let the allure of complexity fade as we see Boomerang for what it is. An elaborate facade enriching its design, architects, and community builders alone. But before we bypass the noise and dive into the Hyper One affair, the Hyper One connection, I do need to do the usual housekeeping. I am not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for entertainment and educational purposes only. You must seek professional advice before making any investment in either the traditional or the digital space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do enough research, make sure that you try to self-custody your assets, and remember that the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to watch this. Now, you may not have ever heard of the Hyper One project and probably don't understand its importance or why I am starting the journey here. Well, recently, YouTuber influencer KSI was caught accessing a dormant Twitter account after 12 months, exposing some questionable pump and dump tactics when the timeline data from KSI's Twitter and crypto wallet activities were audited by Zach XBT. See Agent Coffeezilla YouTube channel for more detail on that. This reactivation of a previous account, triggering a proof of ownership action, with an apt abbreviation, I might add, brings us to the why. Mr. Hyper One, aka Chavez Limited, the largest holder and creator of the HOT token, originally used this wallet ending CAA0 for exchange and distribution of the BEP20 HOT token to subscribers up until the 18th of January 2023. Hyper One was a questionable token and platform running on the Binance Smart Chain rails that promised the next opportunity for wealth distribution, but has since disappeared. You really can't make this shit up. Then radio silence, zero on-chain activity until almost a year later, when up pops the Boomerang tester admin wallet ending 106A with a 2-matic deposit to fuel transaction gas fees as the new Boomerang platform runs on a different blockchain called Polygon. We then see a change of ownership, admin control for the Boomerang fund controller V1, which distributed the pseudo profits. to Mr. Hyper One a few minutes after. Then 3 weeks later, when Boomerang upgraded to V2 contract, Mr. H withdrew all assets from both flash loan contract V1 ending 55EA and the fund controller V1, sending those assets later the same day to the main Boomerang tester admin wallet, where we see whitelisting, wallet and admin duties being executed. Please excuse the name tag humor. Then on the 5th of February 2024, approximately $10,000 worth of assets were received back from the Boomerang test admin wallet and then immediately distributed to the new Boomerang Flash Loan Authority V2 contract. So at this point, you may still be defensively thinking, okay, so Mr. Hyper One collected and transferred the assets in the old V1 contract to the new V2 contract and allowed admin control to be held by another wallet. So what? The contract needs to hold assets to function. Well, is that actually true? If the contract pulls the asset through a flash loan request and then uses price differences across the dexes to arbitrage profit in a single block, then in reality no assets are needed other than a native Matic for gas fees, which is then actually paid by the user. So we rightfully question the logic that is being presented here. And I suggest that there should be little need for asset flow into the contract if the trades are generating profits themselves. So when we continue our transaction analysis and see further multiple large transfers of the trading assets available on the Boomerang DApp and essentially see overt step routing from the Boom admin account through Mr. Hyper One to the Flash Loan Authority contract, we should further question the rationale being presented and ask, why does this contract need a continuous flow of assets if every DEX swap trade is a zero loss? In addition to that, we should also question why these asset flows are increasing in both size and frequency and could make some relevant assumptions in line with user growth, which wouldn't be favorable when considering the longer term sustainability of a profit-less arbitrage system that solely relies on subscription inflows to cover distribution of these pseudo-trading profits. At the end of the day, behind all the complex smoke and mirrors, we just had to follow the money flow from the newly revived Mr. Hyper One. No matter how many flashy distractions they create, it's a straight transfer of funds from users to creators. And as we keep digging into more of these innovative DeFi projects, tracking the money trail cuts through all the hype. So thanks for joining me to uncover yet another wizard behind the curtain. Please smash that subscribe button and share this video so more people learn to see through over embellished blockchain schemes. And the crypto learning adventure will continue as we empower our community with truth. Remember to join the Avengers next time as we investigate where else these sneaky founders might be hijacking funds. Adios, truth seekers. Crypto G out. Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session of facts and stats. Today we are going to revisit the flash loan mechanism for the Boomerang project after this week's launch of a new iteration of the smart contract referred to as V2, which we have been told will promise even higher profit margins than the original smart contracts which we unpacked in the Busted series. Now, I was originally going to create an entertaining chess-themed storyline for today's content, presenting a classic British defense against a typical opening of pawn to d4, where black fianchettos the light squared bishop early in order to dismantle white's pawn center, all in an effort to make the information both more engaging and consumable for those of you that are clearly more rigorous with your due diligence, validated by the fact that you are here watching this video. However, I didn't want any bullshit to get in the way of what is actually happening here. There is a shitload of money at stake, and we need to get our serious caps on if you are to understand what I see and say. Understanding requires us to look beyond simple confirmation bias and consider the questions you are unable to answer factually and honestly. So today I'm going to just talk real stats and facts in an attempt to reveal what is actually quite a straightforward arbitrage process that hides its simplicity through what appears on the surface to be a more complex chain of events. To do this, I am first going to walk through a flash loan arbitrage trade that was widely discussed on Twitter back in August 2020, breaking down the mechanism for profit so that we have a reference point to understand the new Boomerang flash loan contract when we take the microscope to it later on in this video. After that, I will take you through Chavez's response to some of the Spanish community concerns about the Boomerang contract profit mechanism. Clearly, some of you have been paying attention. And I critically evaluate his central pawn structure with a Roy Lopez level of scrutiny. I'm just going to help myself, could I? Not only analyzing the on-chain transaction data, but I also reflect on his demeanor, the plethora of overinflated claims, and how his hubris and clear lack of reality in terms of the potential growth he peddles as achievable is laughable, but has revealed another connection with... You will have to watch through to find out what that bombshell is. However, before I do that, I do need to do the usual housekeeping. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. You must always seek professional advice before making any investment in the digital or the traditional space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do your own research. Make sure you try to custody your own assets at all times. And remember, the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to see it. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush anymore and dive in. Remember, it is timestamped, so you can easily skip to the last chapter if you are strapped for time. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and poke the algorithm with a like button, just in case you get distracted.
The first mover, how a DeFi trader made an 89% profit in minutes slinging stablecoins article was originally covered by CoinDesk, which is reported as the most trusted media, events, indices, and data company for the global crypto economy.
This is a simple schematic for the DYDX flash loan transaction, showing the asset flow and points of actual arbitrage. Pretty self-explanatory, I think, and exactly what we expect to see in any arbitrage mechanism. Now, if we look at the transaction hash on Etherscan, we can see the actual asset flow initiated by user wallet OX89.
Here is a breakdown of the stablecoin journey. 1. Traders started with roughly $45,000 in USDC tokens and borrowed another $405,000 on DE for a total of $450,000 USDC. 2. Exploiting temporary differences between the stablecoin's face value of $1 and quoted prices, the trader was able to use Uniswap to exchange the $450,000 of USDC for $492,000 of USDT. 3. Trader swapped $492,000 of USDT for $492,000 of USDC on Curve. 4. Trader paid off the $405,000 loan from DE and had $87,000 USDC remaining. 5. The transactions cost about $2,000 in fees. 6. Trader netted $40,000 profit on $45,000 of initial capital.
Simple, right? The profit differential is clearly visible in the transfer price list as the trade progresses. Important note, though, look closely at how the asset transfers are correctly ordered on a profit chain. This might seem somewhat contradictory, as all the transfers ultimately happen in the same block. I simply mean that in this transaction, they make sense. Apart from the curve intersection, that is, but we can't know everything. So how does the boomerang arbitrage mechanism match up? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? This seems pretty clunky and disordered in comparison, so let's break it down. To simplify, transfers 1 and 6, we're going to scrub as they are just the flash loan call and return. Transfers 2 through to 5 are the Boomerang Flash Loan Authority contract interactions with the two dexes, where 2 Aave is swapped for wrapped ETH in a Uniswap v3 pool, and an identical amount of wrapped ETH is swapped for 1.988 Aave in the Algebra QuickSwap pool. Then transfers 7 and 8 cover the distribution route from the BFLA contract through the fund controller v2 back to the user. In this example, Chavez's wallet number 2. Now, I just want you to listen to the explanation he gives for this same transaction before we move on to highlighting a couple of significant points that you need to understand. Some of you may already have spotted them.
Eunice, let me show you a transaction.
Okay, go. Nos va a mostrar una transacción ya. This is with the new contract now?
Yes.
Nice, because it's very important to see this part, because there are many people that are asking for the last transaction, because they say where
They
it come
can't
from.
understand. See
Transaction.
here.
This is the new contract. Okay.
This, and then
The last one, actually, Chavez, no?
one was returned. No, this is the old one. Let me
Okay.
find out.
Todo.
En
pues,
un solo contrato que muestra todo de asset.
Eso,
Okay, look.
eso, es que eso es muy importante. Muy,
Ahí está.
muy bien.
See, now it is, it is done swap for Aave in Uniswap,
Wow.
and then it's interacted to this contract. And look, this profit is transferred to the contract, and
Mhm.
contract transfers the profit to the user's wallet.
Beautiful. That's the thing
Ah,
we look at.
It's
Mhm.
all evident.
Lo vieron,
So-
¿verdad, muchacho? Can you put it over there, Chavez?
So not only did he not recognize the first transaction hash and incorrectly stated that it was the old contract when it wasn't, but he quickly skipped over the DEX interactions to highlight the profit was now coming from the Flash Loan Authority contract through the fund controller V2, claiming the significance that this is all achieved now through one smart contract. Well, there are two things I would like to highlight at this point. First is that when you spend as much time as I do studying the on-chain data, you don't see the matrix anymore.
You get used to it. I don't even see the code. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead.
It really does help when you have the official tags. Perhaps you should listen and learn, Mr. Chavez. But more importantly, the arbitrage needs to return a profit for there to be a profit to distribute. Whether it is running on 1, 2, or 10 smart contracts, you still need a trading profit. Otherwise, the fake profits need to come from somewhere else. And you know what that means. Now, in transfer 4, less Aave is actually returned to the FLA contract wallet or V2 from Algebra QuickSwap pool than was sent in transfer 3 to the Uniswap pool. Transfers 2 and 5 are just identical amounts of wrapped ETH used to facilitate the swap through the two dexes. So in reality, this smart contract version 2 actually lost 0.01277 Aave, and yet it returns a so-called profit of 0.0251 Aave through the Boomerang fund controller V2 wallet back to the user. There is no other way of framing it, I'm afraid. It seems that this guy will tell you anything to maintain a cash flow. Ridiculous claims of more things that should be there to get a Binance listing.
Not questioned, or you guys don't even know few more things that should be there in order to get the product listed on Binance, on different other platforms, and then get the audit done by some external famous big five in terms of business. So we are making all these changes also.
Dice que
So,
ellos están, you say they want, Binance will be show Boomerang as a
of
tool
course,
into, okay.
this
And a famous top 5 audit company that never materializes to validate the program before releasing another shitcoin ICO, and the ludicrous marketing tactic that a $10 billion TVL for Aave somehow suggests that there is $10 billion worth of loan capacity available. It's utter nonsense. I would suggest that they start by prioritizing some actual arbitrage profit as one of the things they focus on first. Furthermore, promising returns on an unregulated project or coin listing will qualify a crypto asset as a security if you live in the US and many other parts of the globe, which should make you consider more carefully your investment choices, especially as the federal regulatory system continues to flex its muscles across the crypto space. But if you still don't believe me, here's something else gooey to chew on. Following Corp's decision to upgrade the V2 Smart contract and archive the old V1 contracts, I decided it might be interesting to see what happened with the assets that were held in the now obsolete Boomerang fund controller V1. So booting up DBank and entering the Boomerang fund controller wallet address ending 78BB, we can see that my hunch was correct. The assets that were held in this contract were moved on the 23rd of January to a wallet ending CAA0, which I had previously tagged as Mr. Hyper One after stumbling across this wallet on my travels and noticing that it was the largest token holder and distributor of the hot token. Now, if you select transactions and scroll through the transfers, you will see that the assets were routed through this wallet to the main Boomerang tester admin wallet ending 106A, one of which we looked at in the Busted Series 2, and then directly into the new BFLA V2 contract, leading us essentially to the same mechanism as the one I pointed out in the Busted 2 video. The V2 contract is directly funded by Chavez, likely through this Binance hot wallet ending 8FDG, which links to the USDT money flows from Major Brow, aka Chavez, that I discussed in the Hypercop video. So I thought I would revisit Hyper One and see what pops up on the YT. No doubt you can imagine what reaction I had when this happened.
Moving on to the Hypertech group, the genesis where Hyper One came from. Florin, can you mute everyone? All right. Thank you. Okay. So I will be telling you all about the inception of Hyper One. So basically, Hypertech Group is the mother company of Hyper One, and it is registered in Cayman Islands, where all the big cryptocurrency and blockchain companies are registered, just like Binance Smart Chain. So Hypertech Group is a tech company which is expertised in building tech projects from time to time, and which has delivered various big and small projects that has changed the world in terms of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So for community building, for the first time, Hypertech Group has launched its own platform, and it was called Hyper One. So the reason why Hypertech Group started its own community building platform was all about creating those tech projects and implementation of those tech products so that community can be benefited in the larger scale.
I genuinely wasn't expecting to find a video of Chavez revealing the Hypertech Group as the mother company of Hyper One, especially after claims that Sam Lee, aka the chairman, and Hypertech Group were only the tech providers. Where have we heard that before, guys and girls? So, in conclusion, some accuse us of not knowing about technology. Many claim that we don't know nothing about code. Few recognize that they only look for confirmation bias. Even less will admit that they are wrong before proceeding to try and convince others that they know far more about blockchain without showing any validation. The problem is that, as someone important once said, it is easier to fool people than to convince them they have been fooled. I am, at a core level, a scientist, and as a result, one should expect when challenges are faced that there will be some arguments in response, essentially like a game of chess, where the opposing pieces establish some strength as their arguments or pieces develop until there is some consensus or we achieve checkmate. I only know what I know and don't know what I don't. But what I do know is that we have heard all the overhyped promises of Binance listings and gargantuan growth potential before. But where are those projects and end users now? I suggest you take a moment to congratulate yourself for being uniquely diligent, as most won't get this far. But here, the reward is not financial. It is the knowledge and understanding to guide you and others to not being party to other people losing not just money, time, friends and relationships, often their life savings, or more fatally, more often than we realize, their lives. Over to you, Chavez. Your king is now exposed. Check, check. Crypto G out. Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session of facts and stats. Today I'm going to follow a Bond-style caper where we uncover truths about the dark side of blockchain technology. But don't let the theatrical theme distract from the seriousness and accuracy of the data being presented here. I have literally spent hundreds of hours trawling on-chain transactions, following outrageously large amounts of USDT rerouting to connect these data points together for you in an attempt to make things more impactful. Crypto today is plagued with unscrupulous actors running fraudulent scams, and it is hard to know where to look or who to believe. But rest assured, folks, the Crypto Avengers are here. In this blockchain-powered world, new superheroes arise with a unique set of skills for unraveling financial mysteries. I always say it takes the right team at the right time. 1,000 eyes and the will to use them will get you to the truth, if you can handle it. When cryptocurrency projects start behaving oddly on the blockchain, these superheroes spring into action to investigate and validate. They have no cliched superpowers, just incredibly sharp minds, extraordinary data skills, and a passion for serving justice. Following in the wake of YouTube sensations like CoffeeZilla and Scambaiters, these Avengers, led by the quirky scientist Admiral Heck, alter ego the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, have gathered enough corp data now to finally unmask the villains of this space. The Admiral and his trusted Colonel R's team consist of a growing bank of researchers, fund holders, and advisors from around the globe. Most notably, dark web data expert, call sign Bob, aka Tubman, communications specialist and expletive distributor Rucker T, data analyst extraordinaire Stealth Cat Susie, aka Agent S, infiltrator and activist Private Mac, and of course a blockchain forensic scientist known as the Ledger, aka me. In our first adventure, we tackled the case of the questionably rickety $17 million bridge on the TronNet. In the second, we turned the microscope on the great $7 million Bitcoin caper and, of course, the missing proof of reserves. And in the last, we busted a hyped-up crypto startup that promised outrageous flash loan arbitrage returns to investors, where the only reality was, you got it, the flash loan. It was obviously too good to be true, but where is the money actually going? Was it wanton deception or just poor management? I think in reality, it could well be both, especially when you consider the lack of executive level transparency, the invisible corporate board, and a long history of liquidity failures and systemic technical vulnerabilities. And like in any Bond-style caper, we do need a credible villain. And the fittingly shady CEO, aka Major Brow, plays his part with an air of invincibility and innocence that will take your perceptions of trust right to their limits. His hubris ultimately leading to many clues for the Avengers to trace in the twisted trail of coins across wallets and exchanges, even offering a bounty to locate his treasury. But Before we can dive behind the blockchain curtain and see what the Avengers breakthrough has unearthed, I do need to do the usual housekeeping. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. You should seek professional advice before seeking any investment in either the traditional or the digital space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure you try to self-custody your assets. And remember, the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to watch this. Okay, so here's the scene. We are in the dissect science facility, and Agent S is sipping tea while scrutinizing her somewhat dated computer screen, quietly wishing she could bring herself to part with Lucy, her 5-year-old PC, due to its increasing sluggishness in the mornings. Just as Admiral Heck's online prompt pops up with a bold question mark.
What have you found, Agent S?
Well, now, this is all a bit slippery, isn't it? Quite the tangled web of transactions we have here. Admiral Heck, darling, have you seen this wallet and hash ID? It looks like those large bags of tether we saw moving into 3 inactivated accounts in $2.5 million chunks has come alive. The ledger just confirmed it moved to Binance headquarters several hours ago.
At this point, the Admiral looked up with a wry smile whilst unmisting his spectacles.
I should probably look at that then, shouldn't I? I just want to punch these guys in the mouth though and shout wake up. Okay, so what we looking at?
You can see the token transfer overview from Major Brow to Binance for USDT token contract address ending LJ6T. Click on the sender wallet address ending CCR. I think this might be one of the big players making a money run, Admiral. You should get Bob in on this one. Send him in undercover, see if he can infiltrate their data banks. Click on transfers and select the first one in the list. Then go to transfers again and scroll down. You can see this corporate wallet sent a tester USDT amount before sending the $2.25 million payload. Click on the corporate ending S5X. You will notice significant inbound assets around the 4th Jan and is the primary source of USDT to this account and the $5 million clearout wallet. Currently, though, we only have one wallet with the tracker unit linking to the main flows into the second WAAS withdrawal wallet, which I can tell you now, won't be enough to bring the CIA in on this.
If you step back to the transaction section of the Major Brow account, click on the second transaction, which briefly delegated permissions to this wallet for 24 hours. We see it has authorized spy accounts. The second referencing @C1 tag, which could do with a good ferret, I reckon. This has enough TRX in it to be the so-called secret treasury. But it's only speculative guesswork at this point, I am afraid.
Oh wow. That Binance cold wallet has a massive $4.76 billion. I will get Agent Bob on it straight away. I had confirmation from the men in black today that they are closing in on some of the biggest players as we speak.
That's fantastic, Admiral, but we may beat them there. If we follow the main income liquidity wallet, ending of we can see the ledger has tagged some of the flows in, which show likely node subs and a 15% cut of transfers out to a corp-controlled distribution wallet we call ShaveCorp King's Cross Station, which is a bit of a plexus. The asset flows there seem to hop on and off different rails. We do, however, have verified transaction proof that the second WAAS withdrawal wallet is the reward distribution route back to users, as this wallet was one of the clues Major Brow revealed after inadvertently shared the wrong screen several days ago. He looked a little sheepish after realizing his mistake, but it was too late. If you put the flow filter on in, you can see how much is moving across from the main Lick wallet. It's transferred over $250,000 USDT in the last 7 to 8 days, but this is just for the MLM kickback and bonuses. Look, there's one for Private Eunice.
Thus no sign of any liquidity being redirected to the Tron bridge though, for those Rapidus Holderstück in the BTC20 network unable to withdraw. There is currently only $92 of USDT in the Tron bridge contract.
At this point, Admiral Heck's text-to-speak device kicks into life, punching out the latest info on Ziyuan from Bob.
Ziyuan is in Tibet just north of Bhutan, but I tracked Ziyuan tech entities to both Shenzhen and Chengdu. There is also an interesting 2.5% split on the Shaves account ending, which is regularly routed to Gate.io, but unfortunately we run out of intel at this point. As the Admiral has pointed out, the problem is, most of these guys don't have the level of experience and understanding needed to see through the elaborate web of deception.
Yeah, Bob, and that is exactly why we do what we do.
The Admiral, at this point, raised one eyebrow independently of the other.
It seems a suspect has covered his tracks with all the sophistication of an MI6 spy. This blockchain data has more twists than a bloody pretzel factory, leaving almost no trail to trace. But have no fear, my dear SS. We will unravel this squirrely maze of wallets yet. Let's see if there is any update from the ledger perhaps. Hang on. There is something. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. We have a call sign bingo. That means he's found something big. Let's get him online.
That's the Crown Jewels, Admiral. The second WAAS withdrawal wallet ending IHZZ is the key. If you go back to the track counterparties.
OMG Admiral. Look, there's the routing stablecoin wallet we were looking at earlier. It's the third largest contributor, and there's the WAAS income wallet, all feeding into this one.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got them in the bullseye cowhole.
Hey Rockety. But how do we know it is a corporate withdrawal account?
Well, sir, the main portion of transfers out are mainly to over 100 wallets, which suggests this is a significant distribution wallet. However, more significantly, we had inside agents actioning withdrawals to confirm this address.
I see. And it looks like we have eyes on one of Major Brow's accounts.
Very good, Admiral. Apparently, we captured this on our Zoom scan protocol weeks ago.
Exactly, S. And by starting out with what we actually know and could validate, we meticulously screened everything moving in and out of the building until we had built up a big enough visual picture of their wallet network. Images 005 on show us the verified source information we started with. I have to admit, we did use a few underhand tactics, but the best data came direct from them, especially with the frequent Zoom raids by Bob and some of our active ground agents.
Looks like you are top on their search list currently, Admiral. Perhaps you should look at increasing your security protocols. Although it looks like you won't be able to plead ignorance on AML and KYC regulations either when the Fed picks him up.
Yeah, here's the bomb though. Click on the USDT route to start. That's the one. You'll notice that I've tagged it as multi-core. Well, if you scroll down and click on what we call the red button, track this account's activities, and scroll, you will probably notice a wallet inflow from a distribution wallet for Dalversal Corp 1 bingo. Again, we have insider confirmation of withdrawal transactions from this account for a secret high-level Dalversal member. I can't reveal the asset though, sir. You'll just have to take my word for it this time.
This Mr. Moderate looks interesting, G.
Indeed, S. I believe we are very close to clarifying the core accounts and need to focus resources here. I've come across him previously when tracking the Hypernation withdrawals. He was a frequent recipient of significant deposits during that period, but unfortunately I didn't gather more data on him at the time, which is regrettable and also an important lesson going forwards.
That's fantastic intel, G. What else have you got for me?
Well, apart from the clear co-merging of assets across several supposedly independent projects, we have tracked links to Whitebit and HitBTC exchanges, plus interactions with whatsDAO.eth, APY2ETH.com, the GameStop meme deposit wallet, and a Solidity smart contract with a curious Chinese connection called
币圈最新技术正私募. Here is the translation and explanation for 币圈最新技术正私募. 币圈 B2N Cryptocurrency Circle斜杠 Industry 最新 2XN The Newest 斜杠 Latest 技术 JSH Technology 正 ZH0 Currently 私募 SM Raise 斜杠 Solicit Capital Privately. So the full translation is the latest cryptocurrency technology is currently raising capital privately.
However, we are also making good progress on their Polygon network activity. Major Brow revealed his Boomerang tester wallet address ending 27C, and it looks he's been busy whitelisting together with the admin approval wallet for the Boomerang contract we covered in Operation Busted 1. Look at the first transaction for the funding wallet Shav Boom test, account ending C87. This wallet is clearly interacting with both Major Brow's funding wallet and the main Boomerang tester admin account. If you click on the initial liquidity wallet, there are some interesting Matic interactions with identifiable wallets like this one and flipguard.wallet, and ethereum.trustapp.dao, which has some possible leads there for the team in its NFT collection. Might well be worth following up on that, sir. And if you go back to transfers and to the second page, we get to see the link to the kshield.io that we just referenced. But if we go to the Boomerang fund controller, you can see the admin authorizations to the fund controller and the frequent payments from the main Boomerang tester admin wallet ending 06A. Then look at that wallet in dbank. And if we go to the main Boomerang tester admin wallet and the actions, we can see the regular transfer of assets to both the Boomerang fund controller and the Boomerang flash loan authority.
So where's the funding for that wallet coming from? And surely if the trading is profitable, it wouldn't need extra liquidity injected.
Exactly, sir. Excellent question. Well, the liquidity comes from wallet ending 5AA, which we have tagged as the main liquidity source for Boomerang. This consequently gets its liquidity from wallet ending 8FDG, which gets its liquidity from various Binance hot wallet ending CB88 and 8FDG. And look, wallet, sorry, AF8FD9. You can see it's listed as a Binance hot, and this is one of the transactions. Make sure you're tagging all of these, Admiral. And here's a recent hash inflow for $94,000. And as you can see, we've got regular 3 million plus transfers of USDT moving from Hot Wallet 2 to Hot Wallet 4, which gives us a possible link to the Tron USDT agent S took you through earlier, which routes the USDT into Binance before it spits some of it out through the Binance Polygon hot wallet back into the Boomerang fund controller and the Boomerang liquidity wallets, before distributing back to the whitelist users under the pretense of a profit arbitrage. Indeed, some clever camouflage and coding, sir, but essentially just sophisticated deception.
Or just outright fraud. Keep digging, G. We will get these bastards.
Oh, I will, sir. But I must get back to the beast now. Keep an eye on the ticker for the next installment and see if you can get Agent Nobody Special operational again. We have 2 more fake CEOs to track using his facial recognition protocols. No doubt you have a file on them already, but I'm sending some recent intel I dug out of the archive. Catch you tomorrow, my fellow Avengers. Crypto G out. Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session of facts and stats. Today I'm going to follow a Bond-style caper where we uncover truths about the dark side of blockchain technology. But don't let the theatrical theme distract from the seriousness and accuracy of the data being presented here. I have literally spent hundreds of hours trawling on-chain transactions, following outrageously large amounts of USDT rerouting to connect these data points together for you in an attempt to make things more impactful. Crypto today is plagued with unscrupulous actors running fraudulent scams, and it is hard to know where to look or who to believe. But rest assured, folks, the Crypto Avengers are here. In this blockchain-powered world, new superheroes arise with a unique set of skills for unraveling financial mysteries. I always say it takes the right team at the right time. 1,000 eyes and the will to use them will get you to the truth, if you can handle it. When cryptocurrency projects start behaving oddly on the blockchain, these superheroes spring into action to investigate and validate. They have no cliched superpowers, just incredibly sharp minds, extraordinary data skills, and a passion for serving justice. Following in the wake of YouTube sensations like CoffeeZilla and the Scam Baiters, these Avengers, led by the quirky scientist Admiral Heck, alter ego the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, have gathered enough corp data now to finally unmask the villains of this space. The Admiral and his trusted Colonel R's team consist of a growing bank of researchers, fund holders, and advisors from around the globe. Most notably, dark web data expert, call sign Bob, aka Tubman, communications specialist and expletive distributor Rucker T, data analyst extraordinaire Stealth Cat Susie, aka Agent S, infiltrator and activist Private Mac, and of course a blockchain forensic scientist known as the Ledger, aka me. In our first adventure, we tackled the case of the questionably rickety $17 million bridge on the TronNet. In the second, we turned the microscope on the great $7 million Bitcoin caper and of course, the missing proof of reserves. And in the last, we busted a hyped up crypto startup that promised outrageous flash loan arbitrage returns to investors, where the only reality was, you got it, the flash loan. It was obviously too good to be true, but where is the money actually going? Was it wanton deception or just poor management? I think in reality, it could well be both, especially when you consider the lack of executive level transparency, the invisible corporate board, and the long history of liquidity failures and systemic technical vulnerabilities. And like in any Bond-style caper, we do need a credible villain. And the fittingly shady CEO, aka Major Brow, plays his part with an air of invincibility and innocence that will take your perceptions of trust right to their limits. His hubris ultimately leading to many clues for the Avengers to trace in the twisted trail of coins across wallets and exchanges, even offering a bounty to locate his treasury. But before we can dive behind the blockchain curtain and see what the Avengers breakthrough has unearthed, I do need to do the usual housekeeping. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. You should seek professional advice before seeking any investment in either the traditional or the digital space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do your research, make sure you try to self-custody your assets, and remember, the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to watch this. Okay, so here's the scene. We are in the dissect science facility, and Agent S is sipping tea while scrutinizing her somewhat dated computer screen, quietly wishing she could bring herself to part with Lucy, her 5-year-old PC, due to its increasing sluggishness in the mornings. Just as Admiral Heck's online prompt pops up with a bold question mark.
What have you found, Agent S?
Well, now, this is all a bit slippery, isn't it? Quite the tangled web of transactions we have here. Admiral Heck, darling, have you seen this wallet and hash ID? It looks like those large bags of tether we saw moving into 3 inactivated accounts in $2.5 million chunks has come alive. The ledger just confirmed it moved to Binance headquarters several hours ago.
At this point, the Admiral looked up with a wry smile whilst unmisting his spectacles.
I should probably look at that then, shouldn't I? I just want to punch these guys in the mouth though and shout wake up. Okay, so what we looking at?
You can see the token transfer overview from Major Brow to Binance for USDT token contract address ending LJ6T. Click on the sender wallet address ending CCR. I think this might be one of the big players making a money run, Admiral. You should get Bob in on this one. Send him in undercover, see if he can infiltrate their data banks. Click on transfers and select the first one in the list. Then go to transfers again and scroll down. You can see this corporate wallet sent a tester USDT amount before sending the $2.25 million payload. Click on the corporate ending S5X. You will notice significant inbound assets around the 4th Jan and is the primary source of USDT to this account and the $5 million clearout wallet. Currently, though, we only have one wallet with the tracker unit link.
At a project called We Are All Satoshi. Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session. Today, guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session. Today we are going to look at a project called We Are All Satoshi, whose genesis was spearheaded by a questionable CEO, not only with a checkered history of failed Ponzi-nomic crypto projects, but who also excused himself by suggesting he was only the tech provider. 2%, of course. This project, however, claimed to have a Bitcoin-backed reserve called the Vault Horizon, and this vault would collateralize the individual members' investments through a 30% contribution and would be locked up in the vault as a proof of reserve, which was under the custody of, or would be under the custody of, a board of trustees, securing members' principal until either two conditions were met. We reached the 1st of September 2024, or Bitcoin reached $100,000 in market price, where it would then be dispersed back to the community in the form of a WAAS token generation event backed by the Bitcoin from that vault. However, on September the 1st, 2023, after the daily MLM payments had already drained the somewhat murky marketing budget, which was essentially a hypothetical 68% of the 1 billion Genesis block token supply, Corp announced all liquidity was gone. The 159 Bitcoin, worth approximately $7 million, disappeared out of the vault. So today we are specifically going to do a forensic deep dive into the Bitcoin blockchain ledger using AI tools to help find and understand where the Bitcoin has gone. So if you're either a WAAS investor or you just want to understand how to read the Bitcoin ledger and learn how to reduce your exposure to contradictory claims, then I suggest you stick around for the whole Bitcoin journey. But remember, this video is timestamped, so you can jump to any part if you don't have the time to watch it all the way through. But before we start, I just need to do the usual housekeeping. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. You must seek professional advice before making any investment in either the traditional or the digital space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you try to self-custody your assets at all times. And remember, the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to see it. Okay, so let's dive into this Vault Horizon.
Hi, Claude. I am planning another investigative look at where 159.288 BTC that was in the BEC32 wallet address BC1Q D98 and was transferred out on 01ST SEP 2023, 6:32 and 56 seconds to wallet address BC1Q DKG7, which is now empty. I would like to know which addresses this BTC was routed to after landing in the address ending 4DKG7.
I apologize, but I do not actually have access to real Bitcoin transaction data or wallet addresses. As an AI assistant without access to financial records or blockchain data, I cannot provide factual details about specific Bitcoin transactions or where particular funds were routed. However, I can explain at a general level that Bitcoin transactions are traceable on the public blockchain. By searching the blockchain, one can follow the flow of a specific amount of Bitcoin from wallet address to wallet address over time. Services exist that allow this kind of Bitcoin forensics. But without actual transaction IDs or wallet addresses provided, I cannot offer any specific tracing or insights into past flows of particular Bitcoin funds.
Okay, so as I said in the previous video, the AI tools aren't actually plugged into the blockchain or the internet, unfortunately. So you'll need to paste the details in before you ask any questions. And as I said, always pays to be polite.
Certainly, I would be happy to analyze any blockchain data you can provide and try to understand the Bitcoin transaction flows and movements to the best of my ability. As an AI assistant without direct access to the blockchain, I rely on you to provide factual data that I can then analyze and interpret. Please go ahead and paste any relevant Bitcoin wallet addresses, transaction IDs, block scan information or other details, and I will assist with mapping out and tracing the transactions to understand where the funds traveled based on the data. My knowledge comes from what you supply, so the more transactional details you can share, the better I can trace the Bitcoin's path. Kula Bitcoin funds.
Right, so we've now pasted the transaction and wallet data for that.
Based on the data provided, it shows a total of 159.288 BTC was transferred from 63 different source addresses in the BC1QK 3D98 wallet to the destination address BC1Q 4DKG7 on September 1, 2023. Then on October 18, 2023, there is a transaction showing the full 159.288 BTC balance that was received on the 1st of September is sent out from BC1Q 4DKG7. It is split into two outputs. 0.02 BTC is sent to address 1x, 5 MFSO. The remaining 159.268 BTC is sent to address BC1Q D8 and Z.
Okay, interesting. So it's important to try and follow the ledger transaction data along with the AI. And as you can see in this section here, there is a transaction from the wallet ending DKG7 for the total amount of Bitcoin, and it's split, the main portion going to the wallet ending 8NZY and a small portion heading off to 1EXE. And probably for most of you, you may not understand what these multiple batched transactions are. So I asked Claude to elaborate a little bit on what is meant by being consolidated from the 63 source addresses.
Sure, let me explain that consolidation in more detail. In the transaction on September 1, 2023, there were 63 incoming inputs totaling the 159.288 BTC that was sent to the destination wallet address ending in 4DKG7. Specifically, I noticed there were small amounts being transferred from 63 different source addresses that were all part of the same larger wallet starting with BC1QK 3D98. So it looks like the holder of that source wallet initiated many small transfers from addresses in their own wallet, consolidating multiple inputs into a single destination address ending in 4DKG7, for a total of 159.2883610.4 BTC combined.
So again, at this point, there can be a little bit of confusion between how there can be multiple addresses in the same wallet. So I asked Claude about clarifying that too.
Sure, it's very common to have multiple Bitcoin addresses managed by the same wallet. Here's a quick explanation of how that works. A Bitcoin wallet does not consist of a single address, but rather a set of private keys and their associated public addresses. The wallet software interfaces with the Bitcoin network and manages these keys/addresses behind the scenes. When you receive Bitcoin in your wallet, it actually sends coins to one specific address at a time. To enhance privacy and other use cases, a common practice is to generate a new receiving address for each incoming transaction. So over time, as your wallet receives more payments, your balance ends up distributed across multiple Bitcoin addresses, all still controlled by the same wallet, private keys. The wallet software tracks all these addresses together to tally your total balance, even though the coins are split up.
Okay, so I was glad that I asked that because it's helpful to understand in more detail some of the nuances of the blockchain workings and obviously the significance of private keys in cryptographic asset ownership.
You make an excellent point. Private keys are critically important for proving ownership and control over cryptocurrency funds. Even if one's coins are distributed across many different public addresses for various reasons, the private keys tie them to a single wallet and allow the holder to consolidate, transfer and sign transactions with those funds.
So what we did at this point was take the next wallet address where the 159 Bitcoin was sent to and pop a page covering all of the transaction below. And as you can see on here, before we head back to Claude, that there is a similar pattern of the amount being split into two, going to separate addresses.
Based on the additional transaction data, it shows the 159.268 BTC that was received by BC1Q D8 and Z on the 18th of October 2023 was then sent out in its entirety around 20 minutes later in a new transaction. The full 159.268 BTC was split into two outputs. 10 BTC was sent to address 1XE, 5 MFSO. The remaining 149.268 BTC was forwarded to address BC1QZ, E96S.
Now, if you pay close attention to the detail, you may spot certain similarities, patterns that present themselves. It's difficult when you've got this 32 character alphanumeric address. It's really hard to, unless you have that savant ability to recognize patterns in a complex environment. But I did spot one similar address that I wanted Claude just to clarify for me. I also thought it might be helpful to tag the wallet addresses at this point to try and make things a little easier to follow. I always liken this to your contact list on your phone. Imagine if you only just had the numbers there. So adding names, relevant data to tag or name a wallet is very useful when you're using any of the block scanners, and you can do this by signing up to that relevant block scanner, making your own account, and then tag the wallet addresses from there.
Indeed, you're correct. That address ending in 5 so did receive 0.02 BTC in the first transaction we analyzed from the original Vault Horizon 1 OG wallet, BC1QK, 3D98. And now an additional 10 BTC in this second transaction from the wallet I'll label as Vault Horizon 2.0. To continue tracing the funds with your specified name labels, 159.288 BTC consolidated from Vault Horizon 1 OG and sent to Vault Horizon 4 DKG7 on the 9th of January 2023. On the 18th of October 2023, the 159.288 BTC in Vault Horizon 2.0 was forwarded. 0.02 BTC, greater than 1 XE. 159.268333921 BTC, greater than BC1 coup. 20 minutes later, the 159.268 BTC in BC1 coup was sent. 10 BTC, greater than 1 XE. 149.268 BTC, greater than BC1 QZ.
When you're doing this kind of research, it pays sometimes to ask the AI tool to shorten or abbreviate things, especially when you're dealing with these long addresses and you're getting the text-to-speech tool to read them out. And as you can see here, you've got the flow through from the original Vault Horizon, which is not the Vault Horizon link that is currently in the WAAS dashboard. That is what I've tagged as Vault Horizon 2.0. I know that there are also 2 in there. I haven't bothered looking at the second option for the purposes of not getting too in detail, and I think this is the following the main amount of Bitcoin is, or following the payload, as they might say in a crime caper. You don't want to follow the dummy car, although that may make another interesting video later on once I've had a dive into what happens over that side of the electron. And I labeled the secondary wallet that was taking a piece of the Bitcoin each time it moved as Skim Corp Wallet 1, which, as you can see, is this address ending in FSO. I also asked it to label the next wallet in line from the Vault Horizon 2.0 as a Corp Router wallet number 1, because this process goes through a number of what I might refer to as routing wallets, as you'll see very, very shortly. And this is just the updated flow of the Bitcoin with the relevant tag. So we rinse and repeat with the copy and paste onto the next wallet here, which has a very similar pattern again, heading to another wallet, and also FSO being the Skim wallet. And here's the breakdown from Claude with the Skim Corp Wallet 1, and this I asked to label as Router 2 or Corp Router 2.
Here is the updated flow. Corp Router 1, BC1 QZD, C96S, received 149.268 BTC on the 18th of October 2023. A few hours later, on the 18th of October 2023, Corp Router 1 sent this 149.2683178 BTC in a new transaction, 20 BTC, greater than Skim Corp Wallet 1, 129.268 BTC, greater than Corp Router 2.
Okay, so again, we just copy and paste and repeat the process with the next wallet address. And as you can see, we've got a similar pattern with 20 Bitcoin going to the Skim Corp wallet and the remaining Bitcoin going to a new wallet, which we then will label as Corp Router 3 here, you can see, and the Skim Corp wallet is getting the other portion of the BC.
Got it. I've labeled the new wallet address as BC1Q04HFJ as Corp Router 3. Tracing the 109.268 BTC through Corp Router 3. Received 109.268 BTC on the 18th of October 2023, forwarded in a new transaction on the 19th of October 2023, 22 BTC, greater than Skim Corp wallet 187.268 BTC.
Okay, and obviously we will just repeat this process again and rename this wallet. And it goes through this cycle until each time splitting off a portion of the remaining Bitcoin. As you can see, this one is MEQ. This is a different wallet address. So we labeled this, obviously this is the Corp Router, be the Corp Router 5, and then I labeled this as Skim Wallet 2, I believe. Yes, Skim Corp Wallet 2 and Router 5, and then copied and pasted the next. Again, a similar split of 20 to 22 into Skim Corp Wallet 2 and the rest to the next router, Router 6. And then once again, in the next transaction, we've got Corp Router 7 until in the final router wallet, the remaining Bitcoin ends up going to the Skim Corp Wallet 2. At this point in the video, maybe just the wallet there if you haven't been following Friana and on the blockchain. So at this point, we asked Claude just to summarize the flow pattern of movement from the first wallet to the last.
Sure, let me summarize the high-level flow of the 159.288 BTC we traced. Origin, Vault Horizon 1 OG, BC1QK. Consolidated funds from Vault Horizon 1 OG and sent 159.288 BTC to Vault Horizon 2.0. On the 9th of January 2023, on the 18th of October 2023, Vault Horizon 2.0 forwarded 0.02 BTC, greater than Skim Corp Wallet 1 159.268 BTC, greater than Corp Router 1 sent on the 18th of October 2023, 10 BTC, greater than Skim Corp Wallet 1 149.268 BTC, greater than Corp Router 2 over next 24 hours, funds repeatedly consolidated and portions split to Skim Corp Wallet 1 Skim Corp Wallet 2 final 21.268 BTC to Skim Corp Wallet 2 on the 19th of October 2023. Here is a flowchart summary. Insert flowchart diagram showing the path from Vault Horizon.
So there highlights the limitation of these tools at the moment. I think ChatGPT possibly 5 or there are some options anyway that you could get a flowchart, but Claude unfortunately isn't capable of doing that just yet. So here I thought I'd have a little look at the Skim Corp Wallet 1 and see what was happening with the Bitcoin that was skimmed off through the first few routing cycles. And it shows that the Skim Corp Wallet 1 received Bitcoin 10 times between the 18th of October and the 19th of October, totaling 72 Bitcoin. And the total of this Bitcoin was then forwarded in its entirety in batches over 5 transactions to this wallet address, leaving no Bitcoin in the Skim Corp Wallet 1, which just seems a little bit odd that the Bitcoin is being moved in this pretty convoluted way. So I asked Claude whether or not deducing from the gas costs for each of the batched transactions to the wallet ending 44S6, whether this was a cost-saving process, because I was really trying to understand why the Bitcoin balance was split in that way.
Good observation on the transaction fees. Let me analyze. There were 5 separate transactions, sending batches of Bitcoin from Skim Corp Wallet 1 to the wallet ending 44S6. The transaction fees for each forward ranged from 46,100 sats to 46,600 sats.
Sats are just simply, if you're new to this space, sats are just a fraction of a Bitcoin.
You raise an excellent question. If these were sent solely to save on transaction fees, I would expect each batch to pay a lower total fee compared to sending the 72.02 BTC all at once. However, that does not seem to be the case here. The fees paid for 5 transactions total around 230,000 sats. Sending the full 72.02 BTC balance in one transaction likely would have cost less than 230,000 sats in mining fees. So no, it does not appear the batches were used as a cost-saving mechanism in this case. More likely explanations. The batches were an attempt to obfuscate the trail and not raise suspicions of a single 72 BTC transaction. Breaking into smaller pieces may look less conspicuous. There may be limitations set on the receiving wallet to only accept up to 20 to 22 BTC deposits at a time. So breaking into batches worked within those wallet constraints.
Yeah, and this, although it was broken up into fractions of 20 to 22 Bitcoin, that Bitcoin was, the last batch was sent off in one large amount to the final wallet ending 446, which, as you can see, I then asked it to add as or tag as the final destination. So this particular wallet that we've tagged.
Got it. I have labeled this wallet address as final destination. Reviewing the recent transactional activity of the final destination wallet. It received multiple batches of Bitcoin on the 18th of October 2023 totaling 69.998 BTC from Skim Corp Wallet 1 that we had traced. An additional 21.999 BTC was received from Skim Corp Wallet 1 on the 19th of October 2023. Recent sends from the final destination wallet have been transfers out in batches, including 17.001 BTC on the 18th of October 2023, 9.999 BTC on the 17th of October 2023, 0.999 BTC on the 16th of October 2023. So it appears the final destination wallet received and held the Bitcoin we traced from the original Vault Horizon wallets. More recently, it has started transferring that Bitcoin out in batches to other addresses.
So at this point, we have found seemingly the wallet address for where the Vault Horizon Bitcoin has been sent. Now, there's some suggestion that this Bitcoin was sent to a yield-bearing crypto bank, and so I just wanted to see whether or not there were any interesting patterns of movement from this final destination wallet.
I do not see consistent repeated transfers to any particular individual Bitcoin addresses that could signify known associative entities or other entities in the obfuscation chain we revealed. The send transactions seem to move funds to different wallet addresses each batch. None of those receiving wallets stand out to me as being identified exchanges or services at first glance. However, given the international scope of cryptocurrency, recipients could potentially convert funds to fiat currency through unregulated or lesser-known exchanges/services that may be harder to track. Without more transactional history or additional identifiable details on who controls the receiving wallets, it is difficult to confidently deduce further intent, associations, or categorize recipients as exchanges, but definitively signs of intentional obfuscation through usage of multiple interim routers prior to consolidation here. In summary, no immediate clear repeat transaction patterns from the final destination wallet jump out from this dataset, but recipients could liquidate through lesser-known crypto to fiat avenues.
Interesting. So I also, at this point, thought, what other line of inquiry can we follow? And I wonder whether or not there was any indication as to the interesting activity periods for the input and output, which might give us an indication of which time zone the wallet owner could be residing in.
Great question. Analyzing the time patterns of transactions involving the final destination wallet. On the input side, this wallet has received large batches of Bitcoin at varied hours, including morning/afternoon/evening in Eastern Time Zone as one reference frame. so there isn't an obvious concentration of activity purely in one region's business hours. Transactions both in and out spread throughout different ET working/non-working times. Of course, with cryptocurrency the user could be located anywhere.
So, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to track the asset flow with these complex alphanumeric address labels, especially when the transfers are actioned in such an obfuscated way. So I told Claude that the WAAS CEO had the private keys to the original Vault Horizon 1, and that the 159 Bitcoin was sent to a bank. Well, rumored, he said that he sent it to a bank called Cash AA Crypto Bank. At the time, I got a message that it was the Sasha Crypto Bank, but I hadn't been able to verify that information. But I wanted to know whether or not there was some sign of this dividend yield of 3% that was being paid out, or is supposedly being paid out to the community. And so I asked him whether or not there was any indication of this regular dividend, which is really feeding back into one of the questions that I asked previously.
Based on the information provided, there is no clear evidence that this final destination wallet is distributing a 3% yield amount consistent with 159 BTC to any single receiving address. Here is an analysis of key points. The original 159 BTC that was consolidated did flow through this wallet based on earlier tracing. However, recent sends from the final destination wallet have been in larger uneven batch amounts, not small regular distributions indicative of a yield payment. 17 BTC, 9.99 BTC, 0.99 BTC. No recipient wallet is receiving a reoccurring small payment equivalent to 3% monthly yield on 159 BTC, which would be 4.77 BTC per month. There are also no outgoing transactions to any identifiable stablecoin or ERC20 contract addresses that match the described USDT on a BTC20 network for dividend distributions. So in summary, no clear evidence found of yield-based distribution flows that match the described 3% monthly, or $USDT BTC20 dividends based on the 159 BTC principle. The batch sends are much larger and so far one time. I will keep analyzing for any recurring smaller flows indicative of yield payments.
So at this point, I'm sort of struggling. I'm pretty much out of lines of inquiry, and I told Claude that I was alarmed by the inefficient batch movements of the original BTC through multiple wallets to the final destination, unknown wallet, especially as the Vault Horizon proof of reserve wallet was presented to be a locked vault of the WAAS community's investments, where 30% of the individual investment would be used to purchase Bitcoin and then held for 500 days until the end of September 2024, or Bitcoin were to reach 100K. That was suggesting, and on the basis that this Bitcoin would collateralize the principal investment amount. And I told Claude that I was looking to understand why and where that locked Bitcoin had moved, hoping to clarify all the contradictions that seem to have unfolded since these claims were made. And I also asked Claude whether or not the final destination wallet was a wallet that required multiple signatures, which is usually the case in a bank or a corporate Bitcoin storage scenario or situation.
Based on the information provided, there are no clear signs that indicate the final destination wallet is set up as a multi-signature Bitcoin address. When analyzing this wallet address, there are a few reasons I can deduce it does not appear to utilize multisig. The address does not begin with 3. Standard multisig addresses start with a 3 based on Bitcoin address formatting conventions. There have been no multi-party signatures required on any transactions from this wallet so far. All sends batching funds out only reflect needing one signature, presumed from primary private key holder. There's no evidence that a multi-owner smart contract, threshold signature setup, or other hallmarks of jointly controlled wallets seem apparent for this particular address. So although multi-sig can add helpful security controls and distribution of signing authority across multiple entities, this final destination wallet does not exhibit any identifiable traits of utilizing that type of shared custody model.
So my final question to Claude was what its thoughts were on the Vault Horizon being a collateral holding of investors' contributions in the WAAS project.
Based on tracing the flow of funds from the original Vault Horizon 1 OG wallet address, there is no evidence it served as an ongoing collateralized holding vessel for investor contributions, as would be expected for that stated purpose. The consolidation of funds out of that wallet address and through multiple interim wallets before reaching the final destination does not align with behavior of safely securing contributor assets. One would expect a legitimate collateral wallet to remain static, with private keys appropriately secured by fiduciaries and redundantly backed up in durable storage. Instead, the rapid transfer out through a complex routing chain shows concerning contradictions against principles of properly handling investor collateral assets. While definitive legal judgments would depend on specific circumstances and claims, strictly from an ethical perspective, the asset movements seem suspiciously contradictory to good faith management of investor funds, especially given the descriptions of collateralized holdings for community contributors. In summary, wallet activity sharply diverges from expectations of how collateral wallet custodians should handle other people's money. Hopefully, investigations bring clarity and potentially just resolutions where possible.
So many other questions. I think that's probably about as much as anyone can handle of Bitcoin block scanning adventure. And I hope that the information that you have seen and heard has some value to you going forwards. And I hope that it helps people understand how they can utilize the blockchain ledgers in a way that allows us to spot contradictions between what we hear from corporate, what we hear from speculators, what we hear from this tribal community, the noise that we hear from this tribal community. And although we can't yet say with 100% accurate, or we can't deduce clearly enough who owns what exactly, we can follow the movement of those assets. And we can then challenge the lack of transparency that clearly is endemic in this particular project that we have run the analysis on today. And I would encourage you, if you are an investor, to consider your position and look for an exit strategy to reduce your exposure. But I would also encourage you to ask your corporate representatives these questions. Where is the audit? Where's the validation for, where's the reasoning and the consensus behind this? I get the fact that it makes sense to draw a yield on something instead of having that asset just sitting in a cold wallet doing nothing. But this specifically was a proof of reserve-based project. That was the core reason that people bought into the WAAS system. And the fact that Bitcoin has moved from the wallet, and not only has it moved, but the contributions over a period of time weren't happening. So based on all of this lack of transparency and lack of audits, I genuinely think that it's time for, I need a bigger flag, but I'm just going to wave this at this point. And it's the duty of the CEO of that project to answer these questions and to provide the validity, provide the reasoning, and provide a board of trustees. If you claim that you have a board of trustees, have one. Where is it? Anyway, I'm going to end up ranting like somebody else I know who's got a bigger flag than me. But as I said earlier, I hope that this has given you some more insights into not only what's happened to the Bitcoin in this particular project, but how to look at the blockchain scanners and how to read the matrix, and to appreciate the benefits of using AI tools going forward.
The Cryptic Crypto Caper, unraveling the case of the contradictory collateral.
Crypto G out.
www.cryptoponzi.org. You log in if you have your account, and here's your back office. Hey. Yeah, so welcome all you guys to this We Are All Satoshi back office training and question and answer. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a share screen so we can get right into it. That is not what I want. There it is. Okay, so all of you have a We Are All Satoshi account except for George. He's just joining us today. But you go to weareallsatoshi.org, you log in if you have your account, and here's your back office. What we'll start with today. So this account here in particular is a new account since the changeover. This just has a $500 miner on it. As you can see, here's the total investment. Potential earning is $1,500. And then you automatically get double the amount of WAAS tokens. So here you automatically have 2 times of the 500, which equals 1,000 WAAS tokens. Each WAAS token is equal to $1. So this is equal to 1,000 WAAS tokens. And then this will be distributed to us at the end of the 500 days. And we're a little over 100 days in right now. So next September of 2024 is when those will be distributed. Also the income wallet, this is at 0 because we haven't begun mining yet. But you'll see those numbers change.
Did that other one, sorry to interrupt, but I do got a question before I forget. Did that timing that was on that video, that 60 some days to get into that one, what is it, vault? Is that closed?
Oh, no, so that the vault is continuous. However,
Right, but that period, there was like a thing for, and that it was a month ago, that video, and then 60 some days for.
Yes, yep, the dividends are still open until the 23rd of this month. So
Oh, okay, so you're in that first bank or whatever, right?
What's that?
You'll be in that first bank, right?
Yes, yep.
There you go, all righty.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We also have an available for withdraw. And this is something that's changed for those that like Nick, for instance, you joined in and Maya before the whole miner thing was really getting rolling. Before there was just one available for withdrawal. Now you can see that there's 2. So you've got your new available for withdrawal, and then you can toggle it, and then this is your old. And like I said, in this account, it's at 0, but then in our other account that we had going, it's still going, but there's money available for withdrawal, which will then be distributed to us as soon as Bitcoin hits 100K or next September. Chavez is working on a way where we can get that money out sooner. Today he was talking about that a little bit, but yeah, he's still working on that. So we'll have to wait and see for that. The Ascension Club wallet, this is for those that are builders. So if you're like inviting people, I know most all of you are here, and we can get into like the Ascension Club as we move along. But that's that wallet. The unclaimed income, I don't even know, it's always been at 0. I don't even know what that is, honestly. I don't know if it has a function that I'm aware of. We also have the affiliate links up here. Depending upon which leg you need to build, and most, like every single one of you actually, and you want to double check this on your back office, but you'll be building your left leg. because
this is a binary?
yes, it's a binary. Yep. So Nick and I are building the right leg for you all as we continue to bring people in. So your right leg's strong. I'm going to just scroll down here and show you how that looks. Right here, you've got this right team business. It's at 338,300. And then the left team is 0. So that's
So our right leg right now, all of us is whoever's the one you're starting out. It's that number 338, and our left is what we built.
No, this account was opened about 3 to 4 weeks ago, so it's built since then. It's been building.
There'll be something. I don't.
There'll be
I can't-
something, but the numbers.
Well, but that's the right leg already.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting out of the gate with a right leg like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all are. I don't want to just.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's right team or I
Holy
call it
shit.
leg. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I can do a praise God on that one.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Whatever God that may be.
Okay. So yes, the right leg, I call it, here they say team, is your strong leg. So you want to use your left affiliate link here. You would copy and then you send it to whoever you're inviting in, and then, you know, paste it to their message, however you're interacting with them.
This yellow.
Yeah, this banner does work now. Before it wasn't working, but it's working now. So you can use these links, but you'll just use the left link.
The left, so the left link will give out the information, right, to the person?
It will give you it will give them your sponsor ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
A link for them to sign up, and it'll
Mhm.
go under you
It's
and to the left.
Yeah, it's a clickable link. So then the sponsor ID cannot be like mistaken. It just automatically enters into the registration form.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What is the blue? Because like here I look at WAAS token wallet and it
Yes.
has
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah, so that's a great question. That is if you're on an
iPhone.
Apple device, iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up in blue for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep. Yeah, someone else was wondering that too, and we had no idea, but we got the answer. It's just an Apple thing. Yep. Yeah.
Well, pretty awesome the real-time technology they can do with stuff now.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, oh man, the feather and quill is gone.
And then we also have the Vault Horizon, and this is new. So before there was just the one Vault Horizon, not like that. This is our previous Vault Horizon. This is the proof of reserve, where all of our initial out-of-pocket investment is secure, and it has just almost 160 Bitcoin in it, valued today at just under $4 million. This is the balance as a whole, like what the entire WAAS community has contributed to the Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin hits 100K, then those that have invested prior to this, this Vault 1 will be liquidated at that point, or come next September.
Are we still in the Vault 1 then?
No, now we have moved on to the 2.0. This is the one that's going to be
So
fun.
as we start now, that's the vault we're gonna be associated with, and
Yep.
the new one. The old vault, that's closed.
Yep, it's closed.
So that was the 63-day thing or whatever.
That was for the 2% staking rewards, like when we were in that part of the project, and now we're into the mining portion. So this new vault is for those that are coming in from today onward, because this vault just opened. I mean, I just saw it today, so maybe it came out yesterday. I'm not sure. I
So
didn't.
you're sorry.
Mhm.
You're saying the one with the Vault Horizon 2.0, that is the new one, correct?
That is the new one.
The one
Maya-
next to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll have some in the first one too, because you invested prior. to the Vault 2 coming out. So you'll have, most of it will be in Vault 2, and anything you invest from here on out will be in Vault 2, but you do have a little bit in Vault 1. Yeah. Going back to the back office. Let's see. So here is the deposit wallet. This is where when you're funding your account, where your funds will land. And then this is where you can purchase your miners. So you would just go to Cash Up. And then yeah.
Well, I gotta get caught up with the terminology. So what is a miner?
A miner is
The machine that creates your own currency. We're creating our own digital currency. Like a printer.
Yeah.
For our digital algorithms.
Yeah, sorry if that diesel truck's loud.
No, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, keep going.
Yeah.
It'll all.
Yeah.
I'm this visual guy. It'll all go. Tick.
In
But
order to learn more about like the mining and stuff, you'll want to really join in on the daily Zoom calls at 1 Central Standard. And then
Every day at 1
every
o'clock.
day at 1. Yeah. Chavez explains everything. We're still like in that beginning learning curve. So you'll learn a lot more and easier from him in regards to the mining part.
Well, I'm a digger and a builder and a miner or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, no. And this is like, I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
my mind is exploding as I understood what you're building your own bank, right? I mean, a way.
Yeah,
right?
we are. Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, and
This
it's all decentralized. So you are in charge. Nobody can get their hands in. Yes, ma'am?
Well, and when they turn the lights out, they turn the lights out. I want to dig and mine and cultivate and build, and then I want to put it into the world of matter and motion, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And whatever. I'm one of these, have all the knowledge of off the grid or whatever living, but man, I want to not just do it for myself. I want to do it for as many others want to get on and get out of the chaos.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing too about it is that you can share this with anybody, right? And
Oh yeah, I know that part. You don't got to convince nobody the power of money.
yeah. And then
You just got to show them how to get it back into cash into their hands. That pie in the sky stuff.
Yep.
But the whole system is working that way now. The material money, it doesn't exist in reality. It's just if you're going to go down this road, well, I've never done it with that Bitcoin. It's because of the people. So it's you guys got me rolling, but it's them other people, the way they're talking, it's their language, what they're saying.
Yeah.
This will be the
with this system, if I understand it, they can help a whole lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
a
that's the
lot.
thing,
First
like,
money,
you can purchase $50 miners. I mean, those of us that have excess funds, $50 isn't much, right? And you can help somebody that doesn't have that, and then they're going to be making these coins for the next 140 years. This is going to create generational wealth, so it's super exciting. We've got
but what he said,
I hope we can rock
Crystal.
that 140 get this chaos. Empowering people this way can help so much. You take that yoke off everyone slowly but surely.
frozen.
Oh, so yeah, Maya.
Sorry, I get excited.
Yep.
This is relating to the miners.
Yeah.
Now, this is my question is, I know later when we get into that, learning about the mining, we are going to be paying for gas fees, correct?
Yes.
And we're going to have to, and this is the whole thing that I get really like, how does this work? Where we're going to, even Chavez says we're going to be needing to have some money set aside for the gas fees, correct? Like,
well, when they first start minting on the 20th, he's going to airdrop, it's called, these fees that like the coins that we're going to need for the fees, because we don't have them yet. We haven't started mining. So he's basically just going to give everybody enough that they need to start mining.
And we have to be kind of careful with them because we could mess up and it burns the fuel, it burns the gas. So
No,
right?
you'll be fine.
I'm still trying to understand how that all works too, but like, once we get into it, we'll be able, like, I'm a person, like, once I start like doing it and like it's happening, then I
Yeah.
start really understanding it.
Yo,
Yeah.
y'all. At the very beginning, when he said you're gonna get the star packages, he said you're gonna turn it on and that's it. So when it comes to the B fuel, it's like when you turn on your phone. Your phone's gonna run as long as the energy is in the phone to power the phone. Once you turn it on, it's already doing what it's supposed to do. So before you can ever even access the B fuel, he's going to have enough of it in there to start mining. And then the process is going to work with the exchanges and the bridges to be paying on autopilot. You don't do nothing.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it comes out of the coins that you've mined already. So when, there's not, I don't think there's much we have to keep track of. It's all automated.
Well, doesn't it subtract what, I mean, couldn't we be losing some money as well? Like if
I don't think we'd ever be losing. It's just that, like, okay, for instance, think of, like we're paying for the service for PayPal, for instance, we're paying for that service. So the fee is basically just paying for the service of the miner. It's not gonna like put you in the negative as far as I understand it. Because I don't think it could, like the way the technology works. But yeah, well, like I said, we'll have to just see like how that all plays out.
Okay, yeah, because I think of it like kind of like buying a piece of land in a sense. Like it's, you know, I mean, that's what I think of when you buy a coin, you're buying a piece of land. Or like with the NFT, it's a machine. Or it's a car. Is it Rich explained that? Or somebody explained it about the car and then the gas. I don't know. I like that explanation, but
You want to hear that one?
Yeah.
Crystal, you want to help or you want me to say it?
I want you to say it.
Okay, it's just like what I said with the cell phone. You got a car, right? A car's not going to run without fuel, but the engine is the miner. The engine's going to make the motor is going to turn the transmission. To turn the transmission, you're going to turn the axle, and the car is going to go. Okay, so all the bridges and all the exchanges and all that wallet ID stuff is just like
it's 5 months
you got
old.
your license to go drive a car. Nobody's going to give all this stuff to you without you know how to drive the car, and that's what all these days are for. Is so you can get in the car, put the key in the ignition, and once you start that, it doesn't ever turn off for 140 years.
Yeah.
When you sell it to somebody, you're going to have to use a wallet exchange, and that's what he's been explaining for a number of days. But the whole system, the whole platform has not come out there for us to explore. Like that's why we're using the old WAAS website right now. But the point is that you have to put fuel into the engine or into the engine essentially, but you're going to put it in the fuel tank. So the miner is going to fill the B fuel tank as it's mining. You don't even have to do nothing.
Yeah.
So the system of the bridge and the exchanges are essentially you're connecting your name, your wallet to that entity, that vehicle. And the vehicle is the miner. So once it's turned on, all the systems, the electronic, the tech is set up for you to just watch it as it builds and proceeds to access more money through the funding of the miner. But once you get enough that you can purchase another miner, you're going to have a new hash up power to buy a miner. And you can choose to keep it like that on your passive side, or you can choose to do hash up to the 500 or the 5,000. So if you're being led astray in the simple understanding of the tech, it's literally like you have to have a license to drive a car, and then somebody's got to teach you to drive the car. So right now we're in the middle of being taught how to drive the vehicle, but you don't have to do nothing. It's going to be autopilot.
Yeah.
Well, at least
So do you got to learn to do it, or it's done for you, or the gas?
Well,
you still got to fuel the machine to keep it going.
The machine is going to do it itself.
Right.
It's going to be an electrical vehicle. It's going to be a Tesla. The Tesla's going to drive itself to the power station. Somebody's going to come outside and plug it in for you. It's all that much autopilot. Like literally, you're not going to miss anything. That's why we're going to do test run. In a couple of days, he's going to start having a few of the miners turned on to show the process of literally as soon as you turn it on, that's it. It just builds money and builds money and builds money. That's all you do is choose what to do with the money once it's building the hash power to spend it on a new miner or to wait to get a bigger miner.
And this is working because it's the community, correct?
No, okay, we'll stick with the tech. Stick with the tech. The community is all about the accessibility to the affiliate model. So separating your mind where we're going to come up with money for anything. If you have a miner, if you don't have a miner, you're not going to have any involvement with the vehicle analogy until you have purchased a $5,500 or a $5,000 miner. Once you purchase that,
so you can buy that position.
You can buy that, certainly, sir. And then you can also get to the point where you can buy the node, which is what the miners are hooked up to.
But
Well,
that's
yeah,
dangerous, right?
you get a better kickback in different ways the more you put into it, and you got more of a responsibility. But things are kind of on autopilot, but it still takes your direction.
You got it.
But the node is going to be rolled out later, right? I think he said.
That's not even really like a like how am I going to figure that out? That's more down the line of once we all show proof of concept, proof of the model for ourselves, not seeing it on Chavez sharing the screen. Once we all see the power of it, the energy, that's the power that's in the energy, and we can see how it's really tangible, then we can access more into the node. But at that point, he's already going to roll out a couple more things before us that's going to blow our minds. So don't overwhelm yourself with what's to come. Just if you didn't understand what I said already, please ask it. Please ask a question